Welcome to another edition of Bottom of the Bill, ladies and gentlemen. We got our boy Matt Lapham on today.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Before we get started, we just want to let everybody know, send all your suggestions, unpopular opinions, or any questions you might have to bottomofthebill@gmail.com. Some shows to promote coming up. Side Hustle is doing the 22nd year anniversary at Jackrabbits with Alchematic and Mr. Cool. You can get your tickets at our website at sidehustletheband.com. Side Hustle is a great band name.
I'm just saying Alchematic.
How do you want people to buy into the
Cool?
vision if you can't even sell the vision yourself?
I don't like the vision.
All right, well, fuck you. Anyways, tickets are available on the website at sidehustletheband.com.
Did you say 22 years?
Yeah.
So wait, it's 22 years. You guys have been around for 22 years?
No,
Yeah,
Jackrabbits has been around for 22 years.
Okay.
We look pretty good for 50.
Yeah, man.
And then Hangout Express has Friday, January 29th at A1A Ale Works at 7 p.m. in St. Augustine.
And Saturday, too.
And Saturday, January 30th at A1A Ale Works. And I have no solo shows this week, so that's fun. Anyways, how you been, Matt?
I've been doing pretty well. I've been inhaling a lot of oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. So basically what I do is I'll inhale the oxygen. I'm like, I inhale it. And then I'll expel the carbon dioxide, and I just keep doing that over and over again. So I'm getting pretty good at that.
Wow, how's your nitrogen intake coming?
It's coming pretty good.
Okay.
And then I've been working on my granular breathing, really since I was a kid. But so the whole trick is you got to go, but you got to get as much space between your clicks as possible. So
So you've been Jesus Christ. So you've been breathing all right then, I guess.
I've been breathing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was great.
So
Great
I've been-
question.
I've been doing that, and then I've been very lucky and been able to play a lot of music with a lot of great musicians this whole time as all this madness has been going on, because I know a lot of people haven't even had gigs, and a lot of places there's hardly been anywhere to play. But
Have you played outside of Florida during all this stuff?
I think so, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
Wait, no, have I?
I was about to say it's just
Oh
Florida.
yes, no. Me and Roosevelt Collier and Anthony Cole and Tommy Shugart went up to Cape May, New Jersey.
Wow, you went all the way up there and they were having shows? When was that?
That was a few months ago, and we played in a cornfield, and there was 5 people, but we killed it.
Fuck yeah.
It was amazing. It was just it was funny, and then there was some people just sitting there looking at their phones and stuff, and then they had fireworks, but we had a great time. And
How'd you get that gig?
I don't know.
Cornfield gig.
People just call me. Well, Rosie has played the Cape May Jazz Festival, and this might have been the blues. It was one of the two. They have a couple up there, but he's been playing it for a few years. So I guess they just called him, and then his management team called my management team. We coordinated with my publicists and my lawyers, and faxed over the proper forms.
Yeah.
A lot of people may say things about Matt, but I will say for sure, one thing he is thorough.
Yes,
Yeah.
very thorough.
Very thorough.
Yes.
All right. Well, I want to kind of go back a little bit and just go way back to the beginning.
Yes.
When did you start playing? What got you into playing bass specifically?
Well, in 1985, I was hanging out with my friend Brian Spar, who I went to Emmanuel Episcopal Church with, and we had a little band that we called the Obtuse Mannequins. And it was us, me and him, and it was a drum machine, a Boss Dr. Rhythm, and he had 2 guitars, so I would just play bass lines on the power chord stuff or single note things on the bottom 4 strings of the guitar. And I had always wanted to play music. I wanted to get a drum set, and my parents hell no, and because they had heard me banging on pots and pans in the kitchen. Apparently it didn't sound very soothing to their ears. So I ended up playing the guitar with my friend, just messing around, and he said, you should play the bass, because if you can play bass good, you can always work, because there's a million guitar players and there's not a lot of bass players, And I said, that sounds like a good idea. And then I bagged groceries for like a whole summer at the Naval Base Commissary when I was 15, and I saved up and I got this like Court headless. It was like a Steinberger copy. It was a total piece of junk, and then I played it through my stereo. It was like the worst bass sound ever. And it was
stereo?
yeah, like one of those like those sound design like plastic. It's supposed to look like different components, but it's all like one thing, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, and I really loved the Police. You know, I started really like, you know, that's the kind of the first stuff I started learning was the Police, and I think the first bass solo I ever learned was like, you know, the Who, My Generation.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I mean, you know, I just started playing bass all the time, and you know, as soon as I started doing that, that's all I wanted to do. So I just you know, spent a lot of time practicing and learning all of the wrong shit for many years, and then spent many more years unlearning all the wrong shit that I had learned originally. And
by wrong shit, do you mean like technique and stuff?
well,
or do you mean just music?
just like learning how like functional musical vocabulary. It's like I'm like, you know, like let's just say I learned this was the 80s. It was everything was like shred, like finger tapping, sweep arpeggios, Mike Varney Spotlight, you know, Yngwie Malmsteen,
Right.
Billy Sheehan, you know, like Stu Ham, you know. So I learned how to like finger tap really fast and stuff, and then I'd be like, how come nobody's hiring me? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm finger tapping really faster in the verse, you know, while the singer's trying to sing. I don't understand why they're not calling me back. But I mean, this was the 80s, and there was nothing going on. I didn't know any musicians other than, you know, I had a friend who was a really great guy, but, you know, he was into, you know, into like hair metal and stuff. He actually literally wore spandex to school. This is in the 80s.
This is in Orlando?
Yes.
Okay.
Boone High School. And, you know, I didn't know anybody. And this is pre-interwebs, you know. Like there was no, like you had to order like, you know, a VHS tape on the, you know, or the mail and wait for it to come in the mail, or just get it from a music store. And, you know, you just couldn't go and like watch people play online and see, you know, you had like, it just it was a lot harder to get to figure out, you know, what the good stuff was, and you had to really, you know, work at it. And so I just kind of like kept, you know, playing, and then eventually made it to, you know, the music that, I mean, I still listen to pretty much everything that I liked growing up. I still love, you know, but I don't know. I just started listening to whatever I was listening to and playing with more people, and you know, playing little bands and this and that. And
were the bands like early like creative projects? Were they cover bands? What kind of stuff were you doing when you first started?
The very first band was of course the Obtuse Mannequins. We had, you know, like little like punk tunes. We had Oodles and Oodles of Pretty Pink Poodles was one of our songs. Nice. And we opened up for my Sunday school teacher, who's still one of my very good friends, named Dave Schweitzer, who is also like, you know, has a bunch of like properties around Orlando, and is like Anthony Cole, you know, Anthony Cole's landlord, and a bunch of my other friends, like he was like their landlord, and he still plays around Orlando and stuff. Awesome. But we opened up for him at my church. In the like whatever, like the little hall, the activity hall in the church, when I was like 15. And then, you know, of course, the Boone High School yearbook signing party was like a really big deal. That's when I really started, you know, that's when my career really took off. and you know, but there was just a lot of pressure, you know, so I decided to deliver pizzas for a while. And
I think we've all been there, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, paparazzi starts following you around. It's like you just gotta
see the break.
Well, you know, once they find out that you know you play Dungeons and Dragons, you know, and it's like everybody wants to like know, like, you know, like, well, you know, how did you get your armor class so low? You know what I'm saying? so, but yeah, and then I had a band called Roadkill, and then we played all like the shred stuff. We played like Ingve Malmsteen, far beyond the sun, and now your ships are burned. And there's a band called Racer X, and it's like everything's like super fast, and then we played Joe Satriani. Always with me, always with you. It's like finger tapping, and then we played like another one of his. Then of course we had this like singer guy, because you got to have your vocal tune. He came out. And we did "Still of the Night" by Whitesnake,
Jesus,
which is the immigrant song, Black Dog, and In the Evening all in one song.
That stuff but learning that stuff early on had to be great for your chops later on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I learned how to because I didn't know, I didn't have like real drummers or any musicians to play with, and the only source I had was like Bass Player Magazine, and everything was like
right.
So I was like, okay, I got to go,
Kind of works under the presumption that you already know the fundamentals.
Well, they're just, there was no articles on Willie Weeks or James Jamerson. It was like Billy Sheehan and whoever else,
Right.
And so, but then I heard Jocko, and then I would read interviews with people, and then got into Led Zeppelin, and then heard read interviews with
John Paul Jones
talking about Charles Mingus, and so that's how I got into a lot of music, was by just like reading interviews with people and seeing what they listened to. That's how I got into Justin Bieber, when his like first album that he did, when it was like it was like him and like James Brown and Hulk Hogan, John Coltrane, like that stuff was so good. But I don't know, I just like started playing and stuff, and I went up to college for a semester, and I was kicked out of the same school as Billy Squier, Brevard College in North Carolina, and I came back down here, and then I just started playing around. And
why'd you get kicked out of college?
Well, I just never went to class.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
were you in school for music though?
No, I thought I was going for music, and then I got there, and they were like, "Well, we don't have a bass teacher here," and I just started playing bass, and I wanted to be a bass player, And they said, you can be like, learn how to play the flugelhorn or whatever. And I was like, nah. So I was an art major, but it was like a really serious art school, and like I had to do juries and stuff with all these professional artists. I'm like, here's my drawing of a tennis shoe or whatever. It was like really embarrassing. But the Blue Ridge Parkway, it was like right there.
Yeah, it's real pretty.
So I
up
never
there.
went to class, but I took the tests, and I did good on the tests. And it's like, if you get the material and you're paying to go to school, you shouldn't really have to go
What
to
school
class.
was it in North Carolina?
Brevard College in North Carolina.
Oh, Brevard. I've
it's
been
beautiful
there.
up there. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. When I did cross country camp, that's where we were, and it's real pretty up there.
It's beautiful up there.
Wouldn't recommend cross country camp though.
Yeah, no,
It's a lot of running.
Yeah, no, I don't. I like to walk.
Yeah.
Actually, I like to drive.
I would say I'm more of a driving guy myself.
Oh, yeah.
Walking's cool
Drive,
too.
ride. And then I was, I don't know, I came back to Orlando, and I started playing, and I got in this one band that actually the drummer still lives around here. His name's John Citroni. I don't know if you know John Citroni.
John, yeah.
And he got me super into Frank Zappa, and we did a little tour, up to New Jersey, and then I met some people up in New Jersey, and then all of a sudden I started playing with like some good drummers. I was like, oh wait, that's I got the kick drum. Oh, follow the kick drum, and then kick snare. Oh, okay, and I started like learning how to play the bass a little bit.
So you didn't take lessons or do anything. You kind of just like put yourself through the ringer.
I just I taught myself, and I asked questions, and I like failed over and over again.
Yeah.
and I took a couple lessons. I mean, there was a music store in Orlando called Music City back in the day, and I took a couple lessons with this bass player who played with Lonnie Mack and a couple other guys, and but at the time I was just like a dummy, and I was like, well, that's cool, but like, I want a finger tap. You know what I mean? Actually, I was in Music City one time, like waiting around to take a lesson. I think I took like 3 lessons from this dude, and I was finger tapping away over there in the corner, and this guy comes up to me. And he has, a super long mullet, but like short in the front and like all the way down to his waist in the back, red hair. Jesus. And he's like, my name's Cole Sauer. And he's like, He's like, man, you want a gig? And I was like, hell yeah. And I thought I was getting hired. He's like, here, come over here at this time. So I show up, and it's like pressure washing a house.
You want to get
So that's what finger tapping will get you. You'll be pressure washing houses.
That's hilarious.
So, and then I was lucky enough to meet like, I went out to this place in Winter Park called Dexter's, which is
it's still around, right?
Now it's Dexter's New Standard, which is a great venue that I play at all the time, and it's like awesome. And my friend Nate owns it, and they have great music, and they have House B3. And it's rad, and the food's good too.
Yeah, I really want to play there.
Yeah,
when did it start opening up? Was it technically last year? I know it's just New Year.
It opened up right before, like
COVID,
we
right?
just started kicking it, and all of a sudden the road was like. But then we just we started live streaming, and
Yeah.
now we're almost up to 1 million minutes.
I've watched
awesome,
almost
man.
everything that comes out of there,
Yeah.
and I want to play there, so
Yeah,
I better at
we
least
gotta-
go there. You know
I
what I mean?
can get you in, man. Talk to me, man.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
I know
Alright.
people. But
But all the stuff that you guys play is real hard. I don't know. I don't know if I
Shut the
could.
fuck
It's real hard stuff. So
yeah, but they play simple stuff too.
okay. Well,
Play whatever you want.
Do you have like Simple Tuesdays? I'll be there.
Yeah,
for that.
dude, we have Simple Tuesdays.
Yeah, Simple Tuesdays.
We'll do Simple Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Like
I mean, really,
mostly
honestly,
reggae bounce.
everything that we play is just one note. You just move the note around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tough.
And it's like, one
like
note
a-
and one rhythm,
Yeah,
but
like
it just
switches
moves
around.
around.
Yeah,
switches
just like a
around.
typewriter sort of.
And it's all the same volume except it gets louder and softer.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway.
that is what we should be describing
Yeah.
our music as, like from now on. When anybody asks, so what do you guys play? I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like one note all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it changes.
It simplifies. It's like it's one note, but I mean, yeah, it goes up and down and moves around. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short, but it's really just one note.
This is so ridiculous.
So anyway, so like I got back to Orlando, and I went and I was hanging out and I went to this place, and I saw these three guys playing the craziest, like 25-minute versions of like Stella by Starlight, like crazy fast, like the drummer sounded like Jack DeJohnette and Peter Erskine and like everything combined, and it was amazing. And it was this person named Anthony Cole, who is one of the greatest musicians in the world, and just we just started hanging out, and he kind of he's just showed me most of what I know now.
Man,
and we've been playing together in one form or another, and he plays a bunch of different instruments since like 1992. And he played with this legendary jazz musician and saxophonist and flautist and composer named Sam Rivers, who is, just Google Sam Rivers. He
played with J.J. Grey also,
he was the
right?
real deal. Yeah, Sam was. He was playing with Herbie Hancock and Tony Williams before Miles. He's got this. Check out like Fuchsia Swing Song. Look, he's got a bunch of albums on Blue Note. He's played with everybody. I mean, it was amazing. And so I was lucky enough to, become friends with him and through Anthony and meet all these other amazing musicians that played with him and go see him play, and would watch the big band rehearse all the time.
So how'd you get plugged in with that crew? Like, because you went to school first, you went away, and then came
I was
back.
just hanging out. I just started hanging. I mean, I was just hanging out. I always try to go where like the good music is, and I heard some great music, and then I just started hanging out. I was like, these guys play amazing music. I started hanging out with them, and then, you know what I mean? And then
Was it like a jam night, or was
no.
it?
It was a guitarist named Michael Ledger and a bass player named Doug Matthews and Anthony Cole, and they would play like every Thursday night, I believe, and it was just awesome. And I just remember going there all the time, and then we all became friends and started hanging out all the time, and then I started doing gigs with AC, and we had a band called Cow that was around for a while, and we with a bunch of other bands and stuff. We have a band called Brown Note that still plays. That's awesome. He sings and plays drums, and he has tons of his own music that's you can get on Bandcamp, it's
What
amazing.
kind of music is it?
Oh, it's like the most super funk, amazing, like it's just him.
One note at a time.
It's-
One note at a
Sort of
time.
And
situation.
then some of it is like out like saxophone, more free. Saxophone oriented because he plays all the instruments.
Okay.
And then it's just awesome. So go on Bandcamp and like buy all his stuff because it's like some of the best stuff. And then I've been lucky enough to like get to know all my bass player idols that I grew up listening to, like Victor Wooten and Otiel who's my hero, and I've been watching him since the early '90s. And when I started playing with Roosevelt Collier, who's incredible, and he plays the pedal steel and he plays with everybody, and basically through him, I just I've been able to play with like all the people that I grew up listening to, and you know what I mean. And a lot of that's just from like going to Wani. It's all from all the great stuff that's happened in all the best musical stuff that's happened in my life has gone, and just in whatever anything in my life, all the best shit has come from just going to Wani and hanging out. I've been going there since like 2000, at least a couple times a year.
Do you remember when Rosie was doing his? He would have like his own little festivals.
Oh yeah, I used to do those too.
And is it true that he liked it so much that he moved there?
He did. Yes.
Yeah,
he moved there, but then his mom was was ill and was in a nursing home, and they had to they had to find another place because they weren't doing a good job, and so he had to move her to somewhere else.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Then he had to move back to be close to her. He had to move back to Orlando.
Yeah.
So, but
I had the funniest story about that. Like I just got done playing one of his disc jam festivals or something like that, and we decided to tail it out of there at the end of the night instead of spend the night at like 2:00 in the morning. We're like, we're fucking starving, and they didn't have any vendors there, so we go to Waffle House, and Rosie's just chilling at the Waffle House.
Yeah, man.
And we were just talking to him. He's a great guy.
He's the best.
And he remembered me. I couldn't believe it because that's when he was doing his like super group thing a little while ago. Well, not a little while ago. I think like back in 2014 or something like that. He asked me to sit in, and I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Rosie's the best.
But he remembered me, and
of
I was
course.
like, how the fuck do you remember me, man? I played one show with you.
He's the best. He's amazing, and I was a fan of his, and I would just go see Lee Boys play at Wani all the time, and then we just started playing together, and I started subbing for Lil Al, the Lee Boys bass player, and then I started playing with Rosie, and we would do like little trios and stuff, and then me and Rosie and AC started playing together, and I mean that's one of my favorite things to do, is play in that band, because it's just incredible.
So I do want to ask you about all that stuff. That's like some of that's like super cool how that all comes together. But before we get to all that,
yes.
You've been able to maintain a pretty solid, just a consistent calendar, being aside like a hired gun. How have you been able to do that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like the more I try to like get gigs and hustle, the less gigs I get.
Oh man.
But if I really just concentrate on music, like working on my shit and like listening to music that I love and really dissecting it and learning it and shedding, then like people just call me for shit. So that's like that.
It's just weird how that happens, right?
And that's always been like that.
That's awful advice.
So just shed, work on your shit, and then
not that part.
Yeah.
Just like I don't know. I just got lucky.
I did. I got lucky. But
you're also really good though. That helps.
Of course, yeah. You're
but
working on your craft.
The trick is if if you're chill and you're like fun to hang out with, and I drive and stuff too. Like I like to drive, so I'm always like driving, and I'll just like. I'll load other people's shit, and you just try to do little extra things to make the whoever you're working for comfortable, and then don't cause too many problems on the road.
Well, we did that New Year's gig with you last year. You were there before any of us were. I don't know if you remember the gig.
New Year's?
But it was me, you, Matt, and then our first time playing with
Oh,
Adam
you mean
Volp.
at that shitty tiki hut that we played at?
No, I love the Tiki Hut.
Oh, sorry.
And,
It's a great place.
Jason Prini is a great guy.
No, Jason Pritty's awesome.
But what I'm saying is that
You know what?
we
The
played.
tiki hut that was completely filled with bikers.
No, we didn't.
No, this is an outside place. And remember and then the drummer had that little kick drum, but then he had like amplified, but then he had this giant like a monitor.
Yeah.
And it was like boop, 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 and
Oh,
it
yeah,
took a
kept
while.
happening.
My
Yeah.
favorite part about that night.
But you were there before any of us were.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going with that. Is that I showed up and like all your shit was there, and I was actually kind of like I was surprised in a good way because I was like, for a seasoned musician, you like a lot of guys take a lot of advantage of the fact that they've kind of been around, and they'll show up to the gig like, you know, half an hour before showtime. And they're just like, yeah, I'll be good to go. And like usually they are, but it's just the fact that like we didn't really know each other that well.
Stress on the person that hasn't done the gigs with them before and stuff too. Like,
yeah, that's
you know,
important.
I try to be early as if at all possible, and I just try to make it easy for the people, because I know what it's like to not have any gigs. And I mean, I've played in front of 30,000 people, and I've delivered pizzas for Hungry Howie's the next year. You know what I'm saying? So, look, for real. So like you know, I don't take any of this shit for granted.
Yeah.
And just the fact that, you know, if you can play music and you can get paid to play music and play good music, and you know, with good musicians, like that's such a blessing, and like something that should never be taken for granted, you know. And I think a lot of people, you know, they think that like, you know, whatever, once they get to a certain point that like people owe them shit, and it's like,
yeah, like it's a dime a dozen. You're just gonna get phone calls. All
yeah,
the time.
it's like I'm just every time I get to play a gig, I love it. You know, I mean, well, not every time. There's a couple, but it's still, at least I get good stories out of it. But I'm not gonna say anything about it. There's a couple, but you know,
what measures do you take to prepare for like a new gig? If someone calls you that you've never played with before, and they send you a set list, hopefully they send you a set list, what measures do you take to kind of be as prepared as you can for that gig?
Well, I make sure that I at least have an idea of what they're playing. At this point, I played so many gigs and so many different kinds of music, and that like I know most tunes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of tunes.
That's what we thought when you played with us for the first time. It was just like incredible that you were just like, no, I got it. Don't worry about it. I was just like, what? Like, you don't need to learn the songs. Like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and then yeah.
But you said that. Now I understand. Now I'm meaning you that you're like the funniest joking around person ever. That you probably did listen to everything, but just the way you're like, I don't know. You're just like, I don't know. Or maybe you did. Maybe you were just like,
no, but well, I knew.
I know all about music.
I knew most of the tunes, and then, you know, like basically as long as you play in time and have a good pocket, even if you play like a fucked up note, like you're only a half step away from a note that's in key. So just like pretend like you mean it, and it's like fucking go to the next note, and like fucking whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, like
that. Now see, that is great advice.
And then like, don't be like, oh, I played a wrong note, boring. Like, just be like, fuck it, bing, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, keep that shit in time. If the feel is great, I mean, how many times do you hear like the old, you know, you hear like those great Studio One recordings from Jamaica and like the you know 60s and 70s where like the bass will be so fucking far out of tune, but it doesn't matter because like the feel is amazing.
Yeah,
you know.
that's
So,
true, yeah.
But I love that show. My favorite part about that show is I was messing with everybody there. I was doing, because there was no like TVs or clocks anywhere. It was New Year's Eve, and I was just shouting out the countdown at random times. I was like 10, 9. I was like 10:30 at night. And when it actually was the countdown, I was like, boy, who cried wolf, and no one fucking believed me. That was
Hey everyone, just want to take a second to talk to you about one of our favorite music venues, Blue Jay Listening Room. Blue Jay is a space for true music lovers where every ticket is a backstage pass. Silence your cell phones, enjoy a nice glass of wine or craft beer, and be part of an intimate experience unlike anywhere else in Jacksonville. Hear national and local artists sing their original songs and share the stories behind them in a space carefully curated for the premier show-going experience. I personally have seen some of my favorite shows here, as well as having played with some of my heroes. Not only is Blue Jay a wonderfully unique experience, it has become a staple in the Florida music scene. Mention Bottom of the Bill on your next visit and receive 10% off your tab. Blue Jay is located at 2457 3rd Street South, Jacksonville Beach, And be sure to check out www.bluejayjacks.com for news, ticketing, and events.
That was good. I remember that. Yeah, dude.
It was literally like the only people there were all my friends from South Florida, and then that was it. There was nobody else there.
Yeah.
It was still a fun night. That was really fun playing with everybody.
No, it was.
Yeah,
I
that
wore
was a
my
good time.
suit. You were wearing your Aphex Twin
I was
shirt,
wearing
and
my
that's
Aphex
why
hoodie.
I immediately started talking to you.
Remember that shit?
I don't know. I can't fucking remember like what I had to eat yesterday, but I remember like shows.
You know why?
like,
Because
everything.
nobody's got an Aphex hoodie.
Yeah.
I'm still the only person I've ever seen walking around with Aphex hoodie.
I would.
Thanks to my wife.
I would if like it wasn't like I don't know. What did you get it like in 1990?
No, my wonderful wife just like got it for me, and it just you get it from his merchandise, and just showed up.
But that's how we
I was
hit it
like,
off
boom.
because I was like, I fucking love Aphex Twin.
Yes.
He's what got me on
He's the
like,
king, dude.
everything electronic.
Yep.
But anyways,
He's the king.
I just remember that, and then meeting you, and then I was just like,
Yeah.
what is this guy's deal, dude?
Yeah.
I thought like, you're hot. He's
I'm
high.
a conundrum.
He's super high, right? Or
Yes.
something.
I mean, no.
Exactly.
Moderately.
But it didn't matter. As soon as we started playing together and everything like that, I'm like, I don't have to worry about. I didn't have to look at you one time.
literally.
I mean, I just, as I try to be, and that's one of the things, like the most important things, and I really learned it from playing with AC for so many years, is like being present, being completely present when you're playing with people, and like not thinking about some other shit, but like really listening to what they're playing, and being in the moment and present. And the intent behind what you play. Like you can make a mistake or whatever, but if you're trying to make everybody sound good and you're trying to lock in and you're locking in on the same quarter note, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares that John Paul Jones goes to the wrong part of the song at the end of Good Times, Bad Times. You don't even fucking notice it. He goes in, you listen to that shit. He goes into the fucking chorus and then they go to the other part or whatever at the end, and you don't notice it.
Yeah.
Because it's like the feel is there.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and so a lot of times it's easy to get distracted. So just like. It's just like years and years of getting yelled at by like not paying attention and fucking and fucking playing some bullshit and like fucking embarrassing myself and then like oh, I don't know.
How did you overcome ADHD? Because that's a better question. Because I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know what's ADHD.
Exactly right. That's my
What'd
problem.
you just say?
Exactly. That's my problem. That's my problem too.
I like ADHD. It keeps things interesting.
Exactly, and I enjoy having it as well. But at the same time, I can't just focus on anything.
Because you don't listen to shit.
That's
on
what I'm trying to say.
stage.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Is
so
how did you learn how to focus and?
Well, for me, when I play music, I just become. It's just like I just hear everything when I'm playing, and I'm hyper aware naturally of everything. I don't know. I always kind of was like that. Once I got out of my own head, but I think a lot of that is preparation. Like you got to shed all the time and you put the work in all the time and listen and use your ears. And, shedding and practicing doesn't just mean like playing an instrument. It means like listening to great shit all the time. You are what you eat. If you listen to great music all the time, eventually it's going to internalize. And then you're going to be able to project it,
But it's especially important to listen to, like, if you're a musician.
Yes.
Like a friend of mine, a drummer, told me one time, like he was picking out. We were listening to a theme song of some show, and all of a sudden he starts singing this really high harmony of the theme song. I was like, oh, what was that? He was like, that's a harmony, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He was like, man, whenever you listen to music, it's cool to kind of pick out one part of the song,
Exactly,
and just focus on that one thing the entire time.
Yes.
So like maybe pick out the bass line.
Yes.
And just listen to the bass line the whole time.
Yes.
Just like and then listen back to the song again, listen to like what the drums are doing, maybe
Mm-hmm.
pick out what the hi-hat's doing, and just try and really focus in on one part of the song.
Yes.
And it just makes you that much more aware of listening when you're on stage.
Yes. And I call it functional vocabulary as opposed to non-functional vocabulary. That is possibly non-functional vocabulary.
Yeah. About as functional as Bill's sweater over there. I gotta say, can we just talk about that for a second?
It's pretty cool.
You
man.
like it?
Thank you.
I like it.
I think it's terrible. That's okay.
I think it's pretty cool, dude. I would wear that shit.
Yeah, I feel like I told my girlfriend I look like I'm a 50-year-old dairy farmer that lives in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's kind of my job.
Wisconsin has amazing cheese curds.
They
I've
do.
heard, yeah.
I played with Papa Chubby at the Cheese Curd Festival in Wisconsin in 1995, and the cheese curds were incredible.
They are really good, but they're
that was
squeaky
the same
though.
year.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
the Green Bay and what's his name? Green Bay and the Denver Broncos were in the Super Bowl. So it must have been an interesting time up there.
It was.
Anyways,
I had another story, but I won't go into it because it's crazy. I don't want anybody hear it on this thing. But some other really wild things happened. It was the 90s. What are you gonna do? But yeah, but like
listening to music.
So you're just. I call it functional vocabulary, and basically, like little things that you like breaking all music down into 2 and 3 note phrases. That way you can interchange them in any way and fit them in any way.
100%,
Like if you like listen to you listen to James Brown's music, and like you listen to like the the rhythm guitar, the single note part, the chord, the bass line, the drum part, the horns. That's all that stuff is stuff that works together, and then it also works with anything that you're playing. So it's like just like listening to the meat and potatoes, getting the meat and potatoes and the.
I remember,
down. Yeah.
I remember you telling me about James Brown. Listen to James Brown. Listen to James Brown and everything like that. That was at the I can't remember the name of the festival that we played at.
Old
together.
Gooden.
Old Gooden Festival.
Yeah.
That's when we were talking about. I spent 2 semesters at Berkeley and Knuckles.
Yeah, you would have been really proud of me. I played a gig. Well, I didn't play. There was a gig in Orlando.
Shit, he's just playing with the back of his hand.
And I went.
You've never seen this before.
It was amazing. And I was and the keyboard player last night. He was right next to me, so I was just reaching over in between songs and going ding 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 the whole night. It was awesome, and he thought it was funny too. I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna keep doing it." But I since then I've learned Jaws, just the bass line. I can show it to you.
Yeah, A to A sharp.
Dude.
There you go.
Dude.
I remember, when I was like 6 years old, that was like the first thing I learned on piano too.
But that's as far as I got.
Yeah.
I just play A, but
That's as far as I got.
That's as far as I got. I just play A and then I move it up a half step.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same note, just moved up a little
move it
bit.
around, man. That's all it is, dude. But it's like the trick is finding music that you truly love, that you loved to listen to, and then making that your meat and potatoes functional vocabulary stuff on, and on just, listen to all the instruments and break it apart. And because what it is, you want to like figure out what you love and then you want to repeat it over and over again, repetition, visualization, repetition, and then a gazillion times, eventually it becomes internalized, so internalization. Then when you're playing something that's like, like say somebody calls a tune or whatever, and it's like, you have to like make up something. Or if you're actually playing the song or whatever, when you're playing that, you're using, in your mind, you're playing like the bass line from like, whatever, give it up, return it loose, or whatever it is. You get this. You've done it so many times that you get the same feeling when you're playing it that you do when you're listening to it, and that's when the people that are listening to you feel the same feeling that you felt when you were listening to it.
That's great advice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like. That's what we're all trying to get to. And when everybody in the band's doing it and they're all together and the same quarter note and like listening to each other, then it becomes like amazing,
I believe that's what the pocket is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where you get these things that happen that are like ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN.
Yeah. And you're just like, how do we just do that? And it's, that's the best.
Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah.
Joke
Scott
had
Van Pelt, dude.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Layers, bro.
Yeah, dude.
That was a debate for the longest time, and I was being ignorant on purpose that nobody really knows what the pocket means. Like everybody has a different definition for it, but there's not an actual fucking definition.
The pocket is.
But that's the best one I've ever heard.
The pocket is if it makes you go like this.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you ask like 20 people this question, I'll give you a different answer
pocket.
every time.
Yeah,
It makes it go if it makes you go like this, and
Head nod. All right.
and the most important thing is that everybody has this. It's so simple, but so many people, professional musicians, I see all the time. The first thing you should do is make sure everyone has the same quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. Everybody has the same exact one, and is really concentrated on hearing where the one is.
Yeah.
And if everybody's like that, everything else will fall into place.
I'm going to make a Netflix limited series documentary about what the pocket is, and I'm just going to go and ask every single musician on the planet, and I swear to God, everybody was going to have a different answer for that.
But it'll all be in the same kind of, it'll be all the same kind of thing, though. It'll be like maybe a slight variation of the same answer.
You know what it is? If it makes non-musicians and and I don't even care about the dudes. If it makes the ladies go like this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, and they have no idea what you're playing, but they're like they're people are dancing and they're bobbing their head, they're getting into it, and they're not talking. And then you know that you're killing it.
So this would be episode 2 of my series. Would be physical reaction.
I have a
I'm telling you that I can make this.
But aren't there scenarios where you hear music that's not really danceable music have pocket also, though?
Of course.
Yeah. Like if you listen to like some old fusion stuff where it's like maybe it's not like danceable, but it's super tight, or even modern fusion stuff where it's just like you're not gonna dance this, but you hear you feel like the drummer and the bass player.
The band's together.
Yeah, it's so together that it's just like you can still feel where the groove is at.
Well,
you know
definitely.
what I mean?
If it's in the pocket, whatever kind of music it is, it's gonna create an energy, and that's bigger than like each individual part, and you can feel it when you listen to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's not, and it's all like, and like one guy's speeding up, slowing down, and you got a Russian Dragon on the drums, which is the drummer that speeds up and slows down at the same time. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Kick drums.
I'm talking to you.
Well, but you play those guys kick drums doing one thing, hi-hats are doing another thing.
It's like boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
And it's like if that's happening, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever seen someone overcome a shitty drummer is when I saw Bootsy Collins play at the Bottom Line in New York City in 1993, and the drummer came out and it was like, and it's like, oh God, man, what the fuck? And then as soon as Bootsy started playing, no one cared, and all of a sudden the drummer sounded good because Bootsy was so
assertive,
because projects it. That's what I'm talking about, projecting. Like if you really have that, like an energy that puts everyone else in line. Like I had the privilege of playing with Nikki Glaspie a few times now, and she's amazing.
Oh, she's the best.
And she like, where the one is when you're playing with her.
Yeah, she's super
and
assertive.
It's just so easy to play with. And
that's also that gospel background too, man. Like those gospel players that kind of move out of the church, where it's like they learn all the chops and then they play with that kind of assertiveness, but then they leave and they learn all these other crazy genres, and then those are like the best drummers to me. Like they're just like you said, like you just know where the one's at.
Yes.
Like there's no
argument. The gospel drumming has changed though. I would recommend going back. There's an Aretha Franklin documentary from 1970 or 71, and it's made by this, I can't remember the filmmaker, but it's the rhythm section is Bernard Purdy and Chuck Rainey, and it's like one of the greatest. And it used to not, there was no fusion in gospel. It was, listen to, Graham Central Station's got some gospel stuff. It's like, there's no drum fills, but what happened was, like in the 80s, Dave Weckl came out and was doing all the crazy stuff, which, obviously Tony Williams, is the father of what became everything else with all the fusion drumming, from Vinnie Colaiuta down through Weckl and all these other guys. But everybody started doing all that stuff. That's what all the drummers were listening to that were playing in church. So that's kind of Nigel Hall calls it gospel choppertunity, or gospel choppertunists. Like sometimes people just are just waiting around for the chance to do like their craziest drum fills,
Yeah.
But
sure.
but you have to be in, you still have to be in time, and you have to be,
Not stepping over everybody else's
You know what I mean?
shit.
And so there's all, there's great music from everywhere. But my point was, I guess, that Nikki Glaspie is amazing. So
yeah, she's
that's all I'm
incredible. I
saying.
saw her.
Yeah, no.
My favorite thing she's ever did is when she played with Dumpster Funk.
I know.
And they played at BE Easy Festival down in Fort Lauderdale.
Mhm.
I can't remember which. I'm not from around here, but she just started doing Jay Dilla. Just started rapping while playing the drums, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. She's amazing.
I got to play with I did a little run with Nikki and Nigel Hall and Kat Dyson, and we were playing at the Funky Biscuit. And
it was right around there.
There's a song by Slum Village that is called what is it? Thelonious, Super Microphonus Thelonious. The bass line is like boom, 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 boom. It's got, Nigel happened to we just went into it in the middle of something without even, no one talked about it or anything, and he did the whole rhyme.
That's
and
awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I should have been there.
Yeah, I wanted to come to the one. That you guys did. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I couldn't make it for some reason. I can't remember.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. I had a great time. Hopefully we'll do it again.
For sure.
But yeah, man.
So actually, kind of on the same topic, but going a little bit backwards. When you're preparing for a gig, do you take specific measures to tailor the way that you play or the way that you even act maybe on specific gigs? So you play with Roosevelt, you play with Bobby Lee Rodgers, you did the run with Nikki Glaspie and the Kamani thing. How do you approach each of those gigs, and do you tailor the way that you play or the way that you act depending on the bigger touring gigs like that?
I mean, I don't consciously think about anything other than I want to make everyone sound great and I want to do a good job. And, how they play and act will dictate how I play and act.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm pretty much always the same.
Yeah. Well, 'cause
I'm just kind of myself, and I try to be cool. I try to get along with everybody and have a good time I just try to learn as much as possible from everybody. I get to play with so many amazing musicians, so there's always, every time I play gigs, I'm asking somebody something about what are you doing there and what is that and how does that fit over this, and you know what I mean, and what are you listening to, and that's how I've learned everything that I've learned pretty much is just by doing that, and just being really, lucky to play with some of the greatest musicians in the world. I don't know how it happened, because I mean, I literally was just delivering pizzas, and then you know what I mean, and then it was I don't know. One moment I was delivering pizzas, and the next moment I was playing double bass with Victor Wooten at MagFest.
Sure, yeah.
And I was just no, seriously. And I was just how did this happen? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't, I just try to do justice to whatever the music is and play. That's something I learned from watching Otiel, who's one of the greatest of all time. And, he's just amazing. And, I used to go see him in Aquarium Rescue Unit back in the early 90s, and he was using his modulus 6-string and doing just the most ridiculous, crazy things. And then when I saw him play with the Allman Brothers, he was playing a 4-string 65 or 67 jazz and a precision with playing with a pick a lot and totally doing Barry Oakley and completely different sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
totally.
can tell it's him, but just he does whatever the gig is. He does he plays the right shit and and is into it. You know what I mean? And Pino Palladino. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
There's just I don't know. It's just, as long as you're listening to, as long as you have respect for the music that you're playing and you're listening to the people you're playing with and you just do your best, then the music will kind of show you the way, But I never like consciously do anything different. Other than sometimes, when I play with Shaq Nasty, I'll wear a Rebel Flag G-string bikini underneath my pants. But that's only every once in a while. But
every now and then.
Yeah,
just to mix it up.
yeah. It's
But you play with us and you wore a luchador mask on stage.
I did.
Yeah.
I love that, and I lost it, and I'm
Oh,
very
no.
sad. Yeah, so I need to get another one.
Well, you looked great.
Thank you so
But
much.
I don't think you could keep it on for that long. I think you
It
had to
was
take
really
off.
hot,
But
even though it was cold outside.
It was very cold outside.
and
It
it
was
still got hot.
February.
They need to make breathable luchador masks that you
Yeah.
can wear for days at a time.
Absolutely,
We should
Rob.
start a
Number
protest
one,
about
put
it.
that on the top
Right.
of the fucking bill.
That's right. That's right. A partner with Ray Mysterio. Hey, Ray, give me a call.
Oh.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Is there a specific genre that you like to play more than others? Like one just feels more.
Red Hot Chili
just feel-
Peppers.
I love it all.
You love it all.
I love it. I mean, whatever. I mean, I love if the people I'm playing with are good and they want to be there and they're listening and it doesn't matter. I mean, I love playing. One of my favorite things to do, in the last year or so, I've been playing with Billy Gilmore and who's from here and Christina Nakajima and Mylan and Bubba on the guitar, Dan Hunting and Juan and on the saxophone, air typewriter, and it's just like blowing a typewriter, man. Anybody could do it. and but it's like very bluegrass based, and Christina plays the upright and I play the electric. And
At the same time?
Oh yeah, and it's like one of the greatest things in the world.
That's
And it's like one of my
interesting.
favorite things of all time to do, and it's amazing. And it's not just me. Like people come up to me, I'm like, maybe I'm just thinking this is really great. But like, every time we play, people are like, oh, that sounds awesome. That people that I don't know. So and I listen back to it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. So
That's awesome. Man. That's
That's
great.
kind of how I felt about the Grateful Dead. Is that I didn't really appreciate it at all until I started playing it. I'm just like,
they have great tunes.
It's not even that. It's just fun.
And they have tunes that are fun to play
It's
and that
just
are great.
fun to play. That's the whole point.
Yes.
I'm like, I get your band now.
Yeah.
Like, I listen to them. Like, I don't understand why everyone likes this so much. And I'm like, oh, I get it now.
And you know what? They have such a huge catalog of,
Yeah, it's
and they had a lot of stuff that
ridiculous.
they never even hardly played live. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I had this discussion with Jimmy Herring. I got to go on the road, like opening for him with Rosie and it's drummer Bucky. We did a little trio, and it was like Jimmy Herring and Rick Lawler, I believe, is from here, isn't he? Rick Lawler, great guitar player. Oh,
yeah.
Tallahassee. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I
But anyway, it was and like Matt Slocum. It was crazy, and they sounded amazing. And Jimmy Herring played with Phil Lesh, but he wasn't. He was saying I didn't really listen to the Dead. And then I, realized like once he got with Phil Lesh and they started playing all these songs, he's like, they have all this music that like you never hear. That like it's just amazing. It has great chord changes. Terrapin Station is a great one.
Oh my God.
That one's got some cool chord changes in it.
It's
You know
got,
what I'm saying?
that's like a
Yeah.
fucking like classical
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like this crazy mat. Like
It's cool. It's got like the whole Lydian sound, which I love.
I mean,
I love them.
probably one of my favorite Dead tunes of all times.
Yes.
Honestly, just because the arrangement is so so big. I don't know how to. And this is probably one of my unpopular opinions. Just in general, there's a lot of Dead stuff in the studio that I thought was really amazing.
Yes.
Like people love the live shows and that and everything, but like
But the studio, they were able to, whatever,
flesh out all their ideas
exactly.
and play them like perfectly and like and do the whole, and like you listen to that and you really get to kind of hear the full spectrum of their songs rather than like there's some amazing Dead shows you listen to where they were really on.
A lot of it's just scene stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, so people could be like, I was at that show. My grandpa was
Oh
at
my
that
God,
show.
just my favorite. If you ever walk into a bunch of hippies talking about years, that's my favorite. It's like, oh, 77 was good.
77. Yeah, that was 78.
Yeah.
My grandpa was there.
Yeah. Oh, you listen. Oh, but
It's true, though.
79 though. You like 79? Go fuck.
79 was cool, but I really liked Europe 72.
I've never.
Actually, Europe 72, that was the first Dead album. That was what got me into the Dead. Was my friends like, you should check out Europe 72. Because
Yeah,
that's when they
that's
just
great.
had one drummer, and that back when it was like, You know what I mean? It was just it was a little more like the tempos were a little steadier, and and a little more up. But I mean, Jack Straw is a great song. Like they have a lot of great songs.
Me and My Uncle is my favorite song they do.
What's that?
Me and My Uncle.
Yep.
That's one of my favorites.
There's a lot of stuff in the 60s and like early 70s that I like from the Dead a lot. And then it kind of goes down, kind of get to like the rabbit hole on some of the stuff, where it's just, I don't know. I'm not like the biggest Dead fan, but at the same time,
I'm not either.
There's a lot of amazing things, and a lot of the songwriting is so kind of prolific in this way where like the changes are really cool, and like the topic of what the lyrics are talking about are pretty unique. And I think that it's like Krasno was talking to on his podcast, was talking to Otiel about it because they both had the experience of like going with Phil Lesh and then like and Otiel playing with them for a while and doing the whole thing, and they were like Krasno, who's like this amazing musician that just can play whatever he wants, and Otiel being the same way. They were both like the Dead stuff, man. It's like you're not just gonna get up there and just improvise if you don't know the music. It's just one of those like you have to kind of know and study the music in order to really know how to get around some of those movements, those changes, and like.
There's a lot of non-verbal, just musical cues that you have to be able to hear.
Exactly.
To get through this stuff.
Which is like, it's pretty amazing for a bunch of guys that didn't really. I mean, Phil Lesh had some music background as far as like schooling goes.
Yes.
But the rest of those guys were just kind of like listening to a lot of shit.
Yes.
Did you ever see the movie Uncle Buck before?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like
with John Candy.
Yeah, with John Candy.
Yeah.
It reminds me of It reminds me of him driving his car. Is the Grateful Dead? Like you have to know like when to fucking like hit it, and it's like no, you gotta wait for it to pop twice before you put it into drive.
It's like driving your car.
Okay.
Hit that shit.
Yeah, I do that. My car won't start because I got a bad start, and then I'll hit it twice on the dash, and then it'll start. I'm like, hey, like Fonzie.
It's like driving your car, bro.
Yeah, my car sucks. Death trap.
I have a question. My wife just texted me. Is this something that she can tune into, or is this something that?
No, it's not live today.
It's not live. It won't be edited either.
Sunday it'll go live.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But and on all streaming platforms.
Well,
you can edit. Okay.
Yeah, but we probably won't. So you're fucked.
No, I don't.
That was a double reverse switchmaroo comedy right there. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, your letters have jokes, bro.
It's real mad.
You should have been a stand-up comedian.
I'm a
you're
comedian.
Hey,
Sorry.
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. You know it's pretty good. You say pretty good.
Yeah,
I say pretty good too.
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Oh man, this is all really good, guys.
I have a band that is a secret band that we're in the process of like coming up with material. But
Hey, all of our bands are secret bands
too. The name
too.
of our album is it's a duo, but it's pretty good. It's pretty. The name of the album's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's gonna be coming out the next couple of years.
The next couple of years.
I'm telling you the truth. I mark my words.
Who else is in the band?
I can't say it's a secret.
It's a secret.
Yeah, it's a secret. It's a secret band. I don't want to like. We're trying to insulate it because because everyone, if everybody finds out who's in the band, it's like paparazzi, helicopters,
No,
chasing you on your deliveries.
Yeah, chasing me on my deliveries. You know what I'm saying?
What was I talking about?
Trying to get like, I want the butter cheese crust and the butter garlic with the Cajun.
You're getting garlic parmesan,
like,
and you're not.
Can I get $5 off this Pentangle? No. Yeah.
0 coupons.
Yeah, no coupons. What do you think this is? Wacky Wednesday?
Yeah, it's not Wednesday, bro. It's Tuesday.
That's right. $1.50 large cheese pizza with 50 cents a topping.
You wish it was Wednesday.
Right. That's a true story. Wacky Wednesday, Hungry Howie's.
Yeah.
Really? That's where I met my wife.
On a delivery?
She came in to get a pizza for Wacky Wednesday, and I was like behind the counter, and she was like, "Wow, you deliver pizzas and you play Dungeons and Dragons and you're a broke musician. Let's get married."
I've always wanted to play Dungeons and
20
Dragons. I can't find. I'm too cool, I guess. I don't know. I can't find anybody who wants to play.
I will play Dungeons and Dragons with you. I will play Dungeons and Dragons with you. I will play Dungeons and Dragons. Strength, intelligence, dexterity, constitution,
I would be mostly charisma. I would be 100% charisma. And then like, what do you want to be? I just want to be a guy.
I just want to be a guy. It's like, hey man, hey look at that troll over there, dude. It's cool, man. Can I have some of that gold? No.
Yeah,
going.
I just want to be like
I'm lost
I just want to be the coolest
cool.
guy, and then just go on an adventure and be like, "What do you do?" He's just, "Don't worry about it, man. Just keep going."
Gary E. Gygax. Tomb of Horrors,
I don't know much about
White Plume Mountain,
Yeah.
Vault of the
That's
Drow,
my last name.
Fiend Folio, Deities and Demigods.
Aaron's gonna have a blast with this one because Aaron plays Dungeons and Dragons.
I didn't know he played Dungeons and Dragons. I want to do it. I don't
to
have time.
I have a 12th level fighter magic user with a -3 armor class.
How do we get off the rails so quickly?
I have no fucking clue what that means, but
I do.
that's
I
cool.
do understand what it means, but the only places that I could play is at the comic book store that they have over in close to where you live in San Jose, and it's just like you go.
I don't live anywhere near San Jose.
I don't know who you
Not
are.
even close to San Jose.
But it's somewhere around there.
Is that California?
Yeah,
Cool.
San Juan.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
I fly out for these podcasts.
That's fucking.
But the whole point is, I wanted to go play there, but they had. You have to go into this back room. I don't know about that.
Never go into a back room
Yeah,
to play D&D.
And a comic. Yeah. Okay. Is that? That's rules number 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second rule: don't talk about D&D.
Yep. We already fucked up twice.
Oh man.
I'll edit it out.
That's all right.
Anyways,
Do you want to start a D&D podcast?
I'll D&D podcast like a motherfucker, dude. Shit.
I think we just started one. I think Bottom of the Bill has just become a D&D podcast.
20-sided dice, D&D, +5 opal sword.
10s and 20s. What's so fucking?
By the way, can we talk about one of the greatest rhythm guitar players of all time, which is Malcolm Young?
Yes, he had one of the greatest quotes of all time, which is because he could play lead. Actually was apparently a better. Angus was always like, he's better than me on lead, and they said, why don't you play lead? And he said, because it interferes with my drinking. I was like, fuck yeah. And AC/DC was the shit.
I
and
love
they didn't have
AC/DC.
any ballads. The closest thing they had to a ballad was Big Balls.
I love
right?
that song.
Yeah.
What? I can't tell if you're being facetious or
I'm
not.
being serious.
No, I'm
About a rhythm guitar and AC/DC.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Listen,
Gunk.
everything
Yeah.
that you think about, everything that you think is Angus Young is actually Malcolm Young.
Yeah.
Except for the lead guitar is obviously Angus, which is amazing.
Who plays
It's great.
Thunderstruck?
Angus Young plays the lead line. That's Angus Young.
Well,
But
he's better
And
than.
then blang, blang.
But that tone,
The
that
rhythm is what makes
roaring
the
rhythm
music.
tone is what makes.
Same with the bass.
AC/DC.
People think that's easy, but I've never heard a band play an AC/DC song and sound anywhere close to as good as AC/DC.
I know.
And
I know.
try to use a gunk straight 8 notes to keep them that. It's not easy.
That's solid. I mean, I'm telling you,
It's
they were
the
such
shit.
an amazing band.
And that's people. I think a mistake that a lot of people that are trying to play music make is they skip over things that they think are easy because they think they got it. They're like, I can play funk, chicka 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 bong, chicka
Yes.
bong, yeah. It's like, no, you cannot, dude. It's like, you got a wah pedal, I can play funk, chicka bong, chicka
Yeah.
bong. And it's like, you got to put the time in. You got to put the time in. It's playing simple. It's the notes that you don't play that are the most
You gotta go back and
important
listen to
ones
some
in this.
fucking
It's the space between the notes, just like it's the space between my
Space
clicks.
between.
Just like the space between my clicks.
How are you doing this right now?
Wait, hang on.
All right. For people who aren't watching, I'll document this. It's 2 people doing the scene from The Grudge. Okay.
I could do that
I
too,
gotta
bro.
You guys kind of
There's
sound.
something wrong with. I got to warm up, but I can get it to where it's like click, 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 click. That motherfucker from The Grudge couldn't do that shit. And I've been doing this since 1972, so they owe me
So
money.
fuck that guy.
Yeah.
They owe me
I
money.
got a grudge against The Grudge. Fuck that shit. We call it double grudge.
Double Grudge. That's
Double Grudge.
I'm writing that.
That's
down.
my new band.
Oh, I already was gonna write it down.
That's all right. Write it down.
All right, my fucking new band name list is long, dude. I've been writing. I've had it because everybody's been doing it since the dawn of time, but nobody writes them down. And I was like, I'm gonna start writing them down. And I started last summer, and it's 100 names long.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But Double Grudge.
Double grudge.
That sounds like Double Jeopardy, starring Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
I'm writing Double Jeopardy down now. Double Grudge.
Double grudge.
But
Yeah,
that's funny what you're saying about being so patient and putting all that time into just listening and thinking that you know it all and everything like that. We were talking about that outside about Hero Dreams of Sushi. You ever seen that movie? The documentary.
It's called Dream. It's just called Dream of Sushi.
Dream of Sushi. It's basically.
I love sushi.
Yeah, me too. Who
It's a
doesn't, right?
good Netflix doc.
But it's a documentary about basically this this guy who's just like a real Japanese guy that is just like super into his craft of making sushi. Same way that any artist is about it. But my favorite
Food
part
and
of
music are the same thing.
right, it's it's all art. But the my favorite part about the whole thing is he'll have like apprentices come in, and for the first 4 years, all they do is make rice. They're not allowed to even put it into a
Wasn't
ball.
even his apprentice; it was his son.
Yeah, and it was
his
his son. Like the nepotism came as like, you're not fucking touching fish until you get this rice, right? But I had that joke when I went to a sushi restaurant last weekend. I was like, yeah, I was at sushi school. I did 2 years, and she's like, oh, did you were you making rice? It's like, no, they only let me look at boiling water.
You didn't want to hear a funny story about boiling water?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't realize. I had been married
Doesn't
for
miss a fucking beat.
I had been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it took me 10 years to realize that that you're supposed to turn the burner up all the way on high to boil water. I would put it on like half, and it would take twice as long.
Do you know?
And Sarah was like, "You got to turn it all the way up." And so now I know how to boil water.
I didn't know that either.
It's a hilarious story about boiling water.
Do you know now? I just figured this out. If you put the lid on top of it, it boils even faster.
Yes, I've been told that.
Figuring it all out, aren't you?
Yeah.
I've been told
You guys
that.
just life is so exciting for
I'm
you
telling
guys.
I'm telling you, put it on high, and then put that pot on.
Yeah.
It'll boil in like 2 minutes. I swear to God.
Yeah, dude.
And
Must be nice, guys.
everybody
I'll
else
tell
know-
you.
We have more important things to focus on.
I know.
That's what I'm trying
I
to
know
say.
that. I know for a fact that you have a lot of things you need to focus on.
Yeah. More important.
Yeah.
I never
mean,
figured
yeah.
out cooking. I'm learning how to cook this year.
That's great.
I can cook spaghettios. You know, one of the greatest chefs of all time is named Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
He was in an orphanage and they had really terrible food, and he's like, I want good food, and so so he ran away from the orphanage and he mastered, spaghettios with meatballs, ravioli with cheese, ravioli with meat,
Letters.
fucking
Don't
letters
forget
with
that.
meatballs, like
Letters with meatballs?
spaghetti with meatballs.
Did
like,
you know
all
that
of it.
he actually met Sarah Lee at his restaurant? They're married.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
He's fucking married to Sarah Lee.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about a good fucking time.
Yeah.
You go down to their restaurant, and it's called Ravioli U.
Okay.
Hippopotami, hippopotami.
Yeah.
Ravioli
so
you.
I actually,
I'm gonna go to that
I actually
place.
can't eat SpaghettiOs or any Chef Boyardee products
Well,
again
he's
for
not
the rest of my life,
human.
because when I was for the first time I went on the road ever, it was like a 1 month run or whatever, and I bought
Stupid.
Chef Boyardee products just because
It'll fuck you up if you
well,
eat too much of it.
Well, yeah, but you can't. But like when you're on the road for an extended period of time, like there's not a lot of time to stop. You're driving, whatever. So you get Chef Boyardee stuff, and I ate that literally every day, three times a day for like a week or 2
Gross,
weeks.
dude.
And
Did you heat it up?
No, because you're just
Straight
a
out of
fan.
can.
You
I've
just
done
gotta
that
go.
before.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you
I-
can use the
every
cigarette
day-
lighter to warm it up like they did in the Goofy
Okay,
movie.
I'm just saying I can't eat the products anymore because it's still
Products?
just it's gross.
It's a good thing. You know, I lived in Belleville, New Jersey, in the early '90s, and next to a toilet in a basement, and I had my mattress. It's no joke. And I had a little fucking sterno stove, and I used to fucking beat the shit out of some Chef Boyardee, and
She gets old though after a while.
it got old
It's-
fucking quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going back to Florida.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck Florida, fucking New York, switch ad, fucking Joey,
And-
fucking Vinny.
and
And then I was like, let me see. I'm literally like the hottest person in New Jersey, like a guy or girl right now. Like, this is bad. I'm moving back to Florida again.
What part of New Jersey you said?
Any part.
My
Sorry,
girl-
New Jersey.
My girlfriend's from New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's from like the woods somewhere.
The Woods. Yeah, she's from the Woods.
She's from the woods, not like I wasn't Belleville. It was like Belleville, East Orange, Newark.
Yeah.
I was in like the armpit of the
She
East
was
Coast.
she was down the other side where they make pretty girls.
There are some pretty
They're
like
pretty
Morristown,
I actually played in Morristown one time.
Parsippany.
I make fun of her all the time. I get her. I try it so hard every day to somehow make her say "coffee boss," and that's the funniest thing.
Coffee boss.
Coffee boss.
Coffee boss. Fucking Joey's doing it. Vinny's doing it.
They say water really weird.
All right, so I want to get back on track a little bit
Sorry.
here. No, it's all good. That's what this is.
There's
This is
a
all
track.
about.
What's the deal?
So how did you get linked up with Bobby Lee Rodgers? Did you play? Are you like his go-to guy
Yeah,
in
man,
Florida?
you sent me one of the audio files of
The
y'all playing.
Heej.
It was so incredible.
I love
like,
it.
My mind was blown. And then I was like, "Wow, this is a great studio album." I'm like, "No, this is live, bud."
That was a one show. That was the first time
So good.
that me and AC got to play with Kofi,
Oh,
Kofi
what?
Burbridge, who's one of the greatest of all time
send
and one
it
of
to
my
you. I'll
heroes.
send
And
He is
and
one of the best.
and it was incredible. And Bobby Lee Rodgers is someone that I had seen play and was just amazing. I used to see him play at MagFest with the Code Talkers. It was Colonel Bruce and the Code Talkers. And there's a Ted Pecchio on bass who was awesome. He would play the upright and through like a big 810 cabinet, and it was and then Falcon on drums, who was one of the drummers from it's Tedeschi Trucks band.
Okay,
Who
yeah.
became one, and Bobby Lee and the Colonel. So I would see them play and just be blown away. And then he came to Orlando to play, and we did a show. It was my band Shaq Nasty, and he came through with the trio, and then we just became friends, and we just started playing. He sat in with us, and it was just amazing. And he's someone else that's taught me like so much amazing stuff that you cannot get in a school or a book, because he played with McCoy Tyner,
Yeah.
He's like Barry Harris was his teacher, Jerry Bergonzi, like he just knows all this amazing, and he knows how to explain it to people that don't know shit. So he did a really good job of like helping me like breaking things down and to help me understand how to do certain things, and it's just amazing to play with, and just incredible, and so we just, I don't know, we start, he didn't have it was after kind of the Code Talkers stopped playing, and we started doing some gigs, and then he's like, do you know any drummers? I was like, yeah, I know a drummer, and I got Anthony Cole, and that's like the craziest band ever, and we called it the Heej. It was just like our name for it, but it was like when we
Bobby
played
Rodgers.
when we played with Kofi. We just did one. Kofi happened to be. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, at this place called the Double Door, I think. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina, Double Door in 2000. That's when that's from.
I've heard about that.
And I think it closed down. It was like a blues
Yeah, I
place.
don't think it's there
Yeah,
anymore.
but Kofi was just home, and he came out and played, and it was the greatest. Like, it was like all of a sudden, all this stuff just came out of me that like out of nowhere, and we were playing. I was like, "How is this even happening?" And it was like, I don't know. It was like one of those moments where, that like changed my life. Just like playing it and hanging out and then listening back to it, and it was awesome. So, and that was the only time that we had that particular combination of people ever played. Just that one time.
And I swear to God, he sent it to me. I remember I was drunk as hell, hanging up curtains, and I was like, "You should listen to this." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Holy fuck, this isn't real. This isn't real music." I couldn't believe that it was it. It was so great, man.
Thank you.
I've heard.
I love it, man. I have the other CD. I have the other set in my car. If you got a way to burn a CD, I'll give it to you before I leave.
Yeah, we'll just take
See,
my
the
time
second set's crazier than the first set.
Take my time machine. We'll burn some CDs.
Sweet.
Some
Yeah.
CDs,
You
yeah.
got? Hey, do you got an 8-track, bro? Hey.
I have my record player. That's about
I
it.
prefer cuneiform tablet and papyrus to put my stuff out on. We're old school, bro.
Yeah. Of course. If it's not Sanskrit, I said it's not real
Yeah,
music.
that's true, man.
Good lord,
So,
kid.
so Krasno talked about playing bass with Tedeschi Trucks, and Kofi was obviously in that band, and he talks about when he did that one summer tour with them, he said that he kind of stood behind Kofi, and it was just like a lesson for him.
Every time.
And like just because Kofi had perfect pitch,
Yes.
and would just like have this way, like everybody, like even Otiel talks about Kofi
Yes.
in this kind of like next level way. When
Yes.
Otiel talks about people like that, you know that. What was it like playing with Kofi, man? That must have been a crazy experience.
It was amazing, and he was one of the most like gracious, and like in the moment, and he like totally was right there, and like he makes you feel, you know, like right away comfortable, and just like he's totally into whatever you're playing, and then he plays things that just make you sound like you're playing like twice as awesome shit as what you're really playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to get to play with him a few times, you know, and he was just the best, and you know, he was great. He was incredible. You know, he's one of the most, you know, one of the baddest ever. You know.
Yeah.
I got to play with him with Bobby Lee a few times, and then he came out and played flute with Ms. Me and Tim Turner from Shaq Nasty. It was a Shaq Nasty gig, but the drummer couldn't make it, so we got this guy Dave Chiverton, who's an incredible drummer
from Miami. Yeah,
yes.
He's one of the best.
Oh
I've
my
ever seen
God!
in my life, man.
And like
yeah.
he knew the songs better. We hadn't played in a while, and he knew the songs better than we did. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for like listening and learning our stuff, so you can show me again.
Man,
and then you know, and then my buddy Ito is incredible percussionist and conga player, and Kofi came out and played the flute, and I'll repost it. I got a clip of him playing. It was just amazing. Like him and Tim were playing, and Tim would play stuff, and then Kofi would like play like off of what he played, but like make it sound like he like setting him up for the next thing, and like making him like basically kind of guiding him and making it. It was crazy, like making it sound like just, I don't even know, just like amazing, like shit. Like he'll play shit that makes it sound like you came up with it, but like he's the one that came up with it. You know what I'm saying? Like with the initial idea, and he'll like pull shit out of you, and like he was just awesome.
Oh
so,
man,
just baby birding you the whole time.
What's that?
It's just baby birding you the whole time. Just like here's
it was but it was like he's very like, you know, like he's like, yeah, you have his full attention when you're playing with him.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And for somebody on that level to be that like present, just, you know, when I first played with him, like it was always like that. He was always just like, you know, right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what an amazing experience.
Yeah. I was very lucky.
So one thing that I've seen you be posting now, I guess in the present day, because we've been talking about the past a lot and everything, but is Clone Time. Or how you say it?
Clorny Time.
Clorny Time. What the hell is that? Because it's the
That's
best.
your Instagram handle,
the
too.
The best pictures ever. They're
the
most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
Well, those are just like the drawings that I just draw stuff, and I have no preconceived notion of what I draw before I draw it. Like 99% of the time, I just like draw stuff, and then I connect the dots.
But it's not like with a band.
Well, you talking about the actual music?
Yeah.
Basically, my buddy Nate Landwehr, who owns the New Standard, was like,
right.
What night do you want? I was like, whatever night you want to give me, and he gave me a night, and then I was like, okay, let me get some musicians. Then I got all the baddest musicians that I know, and I was like, you know, like my buddy Derek Engstrom, who was my drummer, who writes great songs and plays guitar and sings and is awesome. And then I got, you know, Anthony Cole, and I got this guitar player named Sioma Klochko, who's incredible and writes amazing compositions. And we've been, you know, all have been playing together. I've been playing with Anthony since '92.
What night does that happen?
Every Wednesday night.
Oh, maybe I'll come down tomorrow.
Yes,
that's what I'm
trying
to say. That's what I've been watching. That's what I've been watching on.
And then Tommy Sugar. We did this. We did this one this past Saturday. It was like a last minute thing. It was me, AC, Sioma, and Ito, and it's just incredible. And you know, the one blessing from this whole Rona nonsense has been, you know, nobody had any gigs, so all we did was play all the time at New Standard, like almost every night for like 8 months.
Yeah.
And playing everybody's music, and you know, my buddy Berto, John Lee Wyatt, you know, like, you know, Derek, you know, AC, like everybody, you know, there's so much different material. We probably have 8 to 10 hours of originals that we could play like at any point with, you know, with the same core group of musicians.
That's awesome.
But the Clorny Time was like,
I
just call it
now I'm saying it right.
Clorny Time, yeah.
So I was like, Clorny Time.
Clorny Time's cool. I mean, whatever. Hey, man, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. That's what I like to say. A little Aleister Crowley for you. But basically it was, there's different combinations of players and music that we would do. So instead of like changing the name of the band, I just call it Clorny Time. And there's different things like Clornitos is like with me and Ito and it all. Okay, listen, this is what it is.
I'm telling you, this is the best.
I'm gonna go all the way back. One of my best friends in the world, his name is Pat McCurdy.
Yeah. And
he used to play guitar in Cow back in the day, and I've known him. That Court Steinberger headless bass that I bought, my first bass, in the late 80s or mid 80s, whatever. I sold it, and a few years later, I was like when I was in a band with John Citroni, and we were looking for and he had just left the band, and we were looking for another drummer, and we were looking for a warehouse. We ended up at this warehouse to rehearse in, checking it out, and my bass was there. And it had gone through all these different people and ended up at this warehouse because this guy Pat McCurdy had bought it, who became one of my best friends.
And you're like your actual bass, not just the
the real one.
The real one.
Yeah, and so we of course became instant friends. And he is
also,
the one,
can I get my bass
and he's
back?
he writes really awesome, funny, great songs. And we've been playing together for years. And there was a song called Clorny. It's like Clorny, Clorny. So when there's a place called Will's Pub, and it's Will Walker.
We played there before. Actually,
one of my homies.
I usually wear my trucker hat from Will's Pub with Evil Knievel taking a fucking hike on it.
And that's one of the OGs of supporting music, real music in Orlando, and is just one of the greatest guys. And so there's the little place next door there called Little Indies, and I used to do a weekly night there with Anthony Cole and with Sioma.
Is that the place with the fireplace in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Sioma and Anthony Cole.
Yeah.
Because I had a pickup gig and I needed to find people at the last minute, and I was like, AC and Sioma, and I called them, and from the first note, it was like, whoa, this sounds like we've been playing together for like 30 years. Like, it was amazing. And so we started playing at Little Indies every week, and I called it Children of the Clorn. So that's how Clorn, and so Children of the Clorn migrated to the new standard when everything shut down, and so it's like, well, let's just call it Clorny Time.
Yeah.
So we have Clornitos, and then we have Vatos, which is like Derek's tunes, where Derek comes out front and sings and plays guitar, and then like AC plays drums. Nikki came before New Year's. She came down and she played the whole set of Derek's tunes with us, and she had never heard the tunes before. It was great. She sounded incredible. It was awesome.
That's the place to be in Orlando, though.
It is the place to be.
It's new standard.
It is the place to be. There's so much great. I've played more amazing music with the most quality musicians, and and just had the most amazing jams. Like more, in the past, the whole Rona time. And your
streams
in the past year than any time ever in my entire life.
And the streams are good. Like it's like it's good production.
Yes.
You can hear it very well and see everything pretty well.
We've been putting in the
camera
work.
angles and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've been putting in the work.
Great.
We got Nate's. We got a really awesome camera, like space age shit. Like I don't even know how it works, but it's the same dude, Joey. Joey on sound, fucking Joey on sound, and fucking Joe on lights, and then.
You know Joey?
I know Joey, and I know fucking Joe. And fucking sound and lights. Fucking Joey's doing it. Joe's doing it. So, but they've been doing, we've been, it's like the same crew of people and the same core of musicians. That's the one amazing, incredible thing that has happened. And then I've been bringing, Billy Gilmore and Christina and Mylan, all my friends down to play there. And like we have this, we call it Orlandoville because it's the greatest. It's just like so many great musicians. Like because there's only like for a while the Standard was the only venue almost in the world that was having music.
Yeah, I know exactly. It happened like right around like May or June when everything was shut down.
And we just kept doing it. We have almost 1 million minutes of our concert viewed. We're on 870,000 right now. So in another month or so, it'll be 1 million.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't even comprehend that. So it's incredible, and there's just so much great music has happened there, and it's to be able to, because you know how it is, you have people that you love to play with, but then everybody's got to work, and you end up having to fucking play with like Skeeter Biscuit and shit. It's fucking whatever. Sorry, Skeeter Biscuit. No, I'm not. Come on, cuz. Sorry. So but since there was no gigs and shit, we were just like, oh, we could just play with our people that we want to play with, and like I never get to rehearse. You know what I mean? Ever. Because, it's like, the rehearsal's a sound check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to actually develop material and, like, play with the same badass motherfuckers, like, every week for, like, 8 months.
Well, that's what makes it
incredible. I've never been able to do that. None of us have. And we got it all documented. And, I go back and watch the shit. And it's like, there's so much content. And we're very lucky, I don't know. And it's like, 3 miles from my house. So it's just great.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I guarantee you, most musicians from at least 400-mile radius, they fucking know about that place, and they want to go as soon as everything starts opening up.
I'm going down tomorrow.
You're going tomorrow?
I'm going tomorrow.
Fuck yeah.
Nikki.
Why not?
Nikki,
I want to go.
Nikki played like 10 gigs, she said, last year, and 2 of them were at the Standard.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
And so people know it's just a wonderful place.
It sounds like fucking Tipatina, Florida,
dude. It's great, and it's great. and the hotel. There's a hotel that's in like across the parking lot from the place. So
there you go.
Maybe grab some fucking Florida Crystal and
like. So John Schofield, if you want to come down and play.
Johnny Scosco?
John's, Mr. Schofield.
Mr.
If you would like to come down and play, we have a house B3.
Because you're for sure watching this.
You can come in the side, you can come in the side and avoid people, and the food's really good, and you know what I mean? You'll have a
We're
good
sending
time.
it directly to him. It's good that you're looking right at his face.
No, I'm just saying.
He's just
anyway. He's one of the best of all time, too.
He is. He's actually top 3 my favorite guitar players of all time.
And the first one's John Mayer, and the
first
one's
Dave
Matthews.
No, the first one is Derek Trucks. It just is what it is. John Schofield, and I think Larry Carlton's probably number 3 for me.
Where's John Mayer, though?
Wes Montgomery.
You know what? Maybe
King of all time.
Maybe I'll take out. Maybe I'll take out Larry Carlton. I do, man. Wes Montgomery was like the guitar player.
I mean, that's
that
like
turned me on to that whole world.
Of like there would be no
any of those guys.
Like that was like I don't know. I've listened to that live version of Impressions on that like Silver Anniversary Edition 20th whatever fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know. Wes Montgomery, man.
Yeah.
He's the greatest. And I love his story about why he started using his thumb instead of a pick. I always thought it was some like deep spiritual reason, but he's like, he would get home from gigs and he just like didn't want to wake his wife up, so he would practice with his thumb.
He also didn't start playing guitar until he was like 21 years old, which is insane.
I know.
Who did he play with?
He was like a jazz guitar player from back in the 50s and 60s.
Wes Montgomery is he is like basically the godfather of jazz guitar, and
Charlie Christian maybe.
Charlie Christian, but really like Wes, you know what I'm saying? Like he really like
he's like very old school.
Yes, Wes Montgomery.
He took jazz guitar to like the next level.
He because guitar wasn't even a solo. They didn't solo or anything, and then but Wes Montgomery, like the play, immediately recognizable sound. Every note he played was perfect. His tone was incredible.
I think that's more
what it was incredible.
Yeah,
his feel was incredible, and like I'll send you some shit. But
that you'll probably hate, but
Wes Montgomery.
He stopped sending me. He stopped sending me shit, and then he sent me so much stuff, and then I just sent him.
I figured I'd give you some time to digest.
I sent him like, hey, you should really listen to this Hank Williams song. He's like, I'm out.
What are you talking about? I'll listen to Hank Williams, dude. I'll listen to fucking Senior.
Yeah, Hank Senior.
No Bocephus. I'll listen to Hank Williams III before I listen to Bocephus.
Hank Jr. sucks.
Hank Senior's great.
Hank Senior, dude. I grew up. Listen, I
Hank
grew
the
up.
Third's awesome too.
I grew up with Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
Hank Williams, like all that shit. My dad was way into all the old time stuff.
I like it,
and I love it. And that's one of the things that I love about like hanging out in Jacksonville and meeting all my friends here and stuff, who most of pretty much, I mean, I've known, I guess I've I kind of met you guys like all around the same time, but like, and I've been coming to Jacksonville for years, but I didn't really start meeting all the musicians until I started hanging out with my homie Christina that plays the upright.
Yeah.
And like she introduced me to all these people, and you know, there's a lot of like country and bluegrass and like all this old stuff that which I love, but then I've actually got to play. You know, and I've and really like have a new appreciation for it.
It's not too deep on bass, I will say.
Yeah, but it is.
It is. It's
because you know how many bass players I know that can't go boom, boom,
exactly,
boom,
exactly,
like a million.
No, it's
I know a lot of guys that go.
Yeah,
well, I only know a couple people that go boom.
It's
boom.
It's the same thing with blues though. No, it's just but there's an authenticity to the style.
No,
it's the same thing with blues. It's like there's a lot of
But that's not even why.
But
I like
you know what it is though. You only have one note, dude. If you play, I used to play with this singer named Terry Binion.
Yeah.
And she was amazing, like Lucinda Williams sang on one of her albums, and she wrote incredible songwriter and singer. And her music was really tricky because it'd be like the same thing, and then it'd have like one like extra bar of one chord, like in a weird spot. But like if you fuck that shit up, you're playing half notes, and someone's singing, and you play a wrong note, you suck. Like you're just like everyone's like, what the fuck was that? Like it's hard. Like being able to leave that space, and you know, it's like easy to impress people if you're just going diggity because it's like whatever. Yeah, like people, but to go boom and have such a good sound. It's like when Derek Trucks plays one note, wing, and like everyone starts crying and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's one note. I saw bikers at like cry watching Derek Trucks play, like fucking drunk bikers, like Hell's Angels and shit, like when he's like playing one note, like you know what I mean? Like you to be able to play one note and you say everything you could say with a million notes and more things, like that to me is like way harder to do.
Man, it's the same shit with blues bass players too. There's a lot of guys out there that are just like they try and like put all these notes in between the shit. It's
and
like
it sucks,
if you're playing like a slow blues,
they're playing like an active fucking bass and shit with like EMGs, like
or if you're playing like a shuffle or something, you know, a lot of guys are trying to like
hard.
Man, it's like I played in a blues band for a long time, and this and the band leader's always like, it's like, Anton, you as a guitar player, so you just don't know how to. You don't have that. You can't fucking shuffle, man. Like you don't know how to shuffle. It's like, I guess I don't.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's learning how to play drums. Like that's another important thing, which I would recommend, or I would say is probably the most important thing for any musician. Everybody should be able to sit down and go boom, bat, boom, boom, bat, and play a beat. And keep it steady. But the more you work on just like all you need is a kick, hi-hat, snare. And the more you work on your drumming, it internalizes rhythm in your whole body, the more you're able to, the more solid your time gets, and the more you're able to project that. And then other people that maybe their time isn't as good, all of a sudden, like what I saw Bootsy do with that drummer who was like, you know, kind of like floating around, and then as soon as Bootsy got there, it was like, he had no choice. Yeah,
he had to just lay it in.
Know? So, you know, it's because everything starts from your feet. You know, like you tap your foot, you get your quarter note.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not thinking about that, and you can float around sometimes.
Yeah.
But like if everybody's tapping their foot at the same exact time and like looking at it and bobbing their head, and then. That's why it's so important.
That's the pocket. It's
the pocket.
It's bobbing.
Bobbing the head.
Bobbing.
That's what that's what I do all the time. I always move my foot. I always have my foot going.
But in like whatever way he wants to.
Exactly.
You think the foot's gonna get away from it at some point.
But I like. That's why I like the. You know, it's like 4 on the floor. Like that's what when I. You know, people take lessons from me or whatever. If I'm teaching somebody, you know, or attempting to, I the first thing is like we listen to music and it's like find the quarter note, tap your foot.
Yeah.
And you make that subconscious. Once you make it subconscious, which is through repetition, then you're able to internalize it. Then you're able to project it.
Yeah,
my OCD has gotten so bad that when I walk, I count 1, 2, 3, 4 when I walk. I swear to God.
I've been doing that
you
shit
should do the same thing when you play too.
That's really funny, but
just saying,
it's so weird. I know that
I have the seconds when you pee. I do that too.
Well, I have 12 steps in my house, and I know that because I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm downstairs every single fucking time. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I count shit all the time. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like counting things, and I like trying to subdivide things and and I like, syncopating things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's good practice just to do, even when you're listening to music, just kind of like try and find where the subdivisions are at and like counting stuff. Just
try to make music along with the music that you're listening to.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's how you develop your functional music vocabulary, kids.
I liked what you said at the beginning, the functional vocabulary.
Yes.
I want to do that more than anything.
Like a non-functional vocabulary would be like, functional vocabulary would be like, pass the salt, please.
I want to pass the salt. That's my whole deal. I want to pass
what I
the
like
salt.
to do is this. Hey, can you pass the salt?
Have you ever tasted heaven in a glass? Do you pine for the hoppiest brews and palest ales? Do you like food? If so, then Wicked Barley is the oasis that your mouth has been wishing for, walking into the complete barren wasteland that is your life. Wicked Barley is located in Jacksonville, Florida, nestled on the banks of Goodpeace Creek. Wicked Barley aims to provide its guests with a wicked experience, offering over 18 house-brewed beers, ciders, and meads on tap. They also have an expansive gastropub-style food menu, including burgers, salads, sandwiches, and more. Whether you are a newcomer or a craft beer connoisseur, there's a little something for everyone at Wicked Barley. Visit them at 4100 Bay Meadows Drive and tell them Bottom of the Bill sent you.
The best of both worlds. That's what that Van Halen song's about.
All right,
it's very inspiring, though, listening to you, the way that you learn how to play bass by basically just reading the hell out of everything and getting information from interviews of people. I'm like, oh, well, he listened to this person.
Yeah.
Or
this guy's awesome, so I'm going to listen to what he says.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is one thing that is missing in my thing, my understanding of music.
Well,
I don't have that anymore, and I feel like the reason why is because everything's right there in front of you.
Yes, and there's so much information.
Yeah, that's what I
It's easy
mean.
to get lost.
Yeah.
So like what's good to do is just like find somebody that you really love, like an artist, and then just go and like read interviews with them.
Yeah, that's what I did with James Murphy from LCD Sound System. He's my favorite.
Oh, he's great, dude.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something about him.
No, dude, he's bad as fuck, dude.
Thank you.
Dude, I know LCD Sound System, man.
Yeah, I fucking
My
love
buddy
him.
Kevin Rotz turned me on to them
That's
years
the
ago.
reason that interview. That's the reason why I have that book is because he said that in that interview that he has about failure and everything like that, he said. David Foster Wallace wrote this book, and it took him 4 years, and this is how old he was. And he said, well, if I started right now, it wouldn't be done until I'm 40, so I should give up.
Yeah.
So anyways, I read that book. It has nothing to do with LCD Sound System, but he liked that.
Well, yeah, it does.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it does. It does technically now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But he liked it. He liked that book and everything's
Yeah.
like, well, if I'm gonna read that book and see it, and I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a I don't know, endless
hole.
hole to go down.
It's like that Oprah Winfrey shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You
The
watch
Secret.
Oprah?
No.
Oh.
But it's like The Secret. It's like, yeah, The Secret is like if you fucking like visualize something, it happens. Like, well, I don't know how that's a secret.
Yeah.
But,
No, it is.
But if you but it's like if you visualize.
We'll
like when
edit
I
it
was 15
out.
years old, I saw Victor Wooten play, and I said, I'm gonna fucking practice. I'm gonna play, and someday I'm gonna fucking play with him. And I played with him, dude. And he knows who I am. And he's jammed with me, and he's come to, I know him through Roosevelt. He came one time. We were and Rosie and AC, and we were playing at this place called the Red Lion Pub in Orlando, which is no longer there.
Yeah.
And he had been doing a clinic earlier in the day, and Rosie and me had stopped by. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, "We're playing on the street. Come down." And he showed up. I didn't tell anybody. And he showed up, and I was like, "Oh, we got a special guest on bass." And it was like Victor Wooten came up, and I gave him my bass, and I was just like. People were like freaking out. Like, yeah, that's what I meant by special guests.
Do you get nervous before you play it all ever? Like at any gigs, really?
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh my god, I get nervous when I play with like awesome musicians that I've been watching for years. I got nervous when when Nikki called me for this gig. I was like, oh
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah, fuck you.
You know what I mean?
Nigel, Cat Dyson.
You know what I mean? And then I got and I got nervous again when I picked her up at the airport. I'm like, oh, we're gonna jam. Oh no, you know what I mean? I gotta make sure I play good. And I get nervous, like, I don't know, like I got nervous when I got to play with Otiel and Kofi. and AC and Rosie at the Funky Biscuit like 4 or 5 years ago. And I was just going there watching. Otiel was like, "You're setting your shit up and playing," and I was fucking nervous as hell. You know what I mean? But then once they start playing, it was just like,
just get into it.
It was just because they're such good people, and once you get, once you're actually playing the music, it's just like. But before you start playing it, you get nervous.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And yeah, man, I get nervous. Or if I always want it to sound really good. You know what I mean? And I always want to play my best, and like I want to make everybody else sound good. So like, and especially if it's somebody that like I haven't played with before that I've been watching like on stage for years. And then it's like all of a sudden I'm playing a gig with them, and it's like I get nervous before that.
Yeah.
But that which is good, because if you don't, that means you don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
man.
like, I mean, it's like you just kind of use that as fuel for so you can get that extra gear to like hopefully kick more ass.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
All
right. Well, we gotta move on to our last segment of the show.
It's been great. I wish we could do this all night because we probably have another 2 hours of this, but
It's okay, dude. I'll be back in 2021. Wait, it's 2021
Yeah.
now. I'll be back in a couple months, dude.
All right.
We'll do the Kung Fu and the Dungeons and Dragons one.
100%. I'll do Dungeons and Dragons.
I will fucking straight
I'll
up.
drive to Orlando
Gary E.
for it.
Gygax.
I don't know.
All right.
That's the guy who invented Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, well.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
that deep into it.
That's all right. I'll teach you.
So we have our unpopular opinion segment. So if you have one, think about it for a second. We give the guests the last one of the night. So
You're
if you
our
got
guest, by the way.
one, you can go first, Bill.
Okay, it's a little political, but I said we should rewrite the Constitution and make it crystal clear for everyone, and then rewrite it every 100 years.
All right.
That's just logic, dude.
That's just logic.
There was only like 20 people living in the United States when it was written.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, and it was designed to be flexible. It's just people are so fucking stupid.
Thank you. And
it's like oh well, we're gonna get mad because someone's kneeling in protest at a football game, but it's cool to fucking storm the Capitol and smear shit on someone's desk.
Yeah, thank you.
And sell a fucking laptop to Russians.
Just the Second Amendment alone, they had just like muskets the whole way through. For another 200 years, they didn't invent a fucking automatic machine gun.
Yeah.
Do you think they would have put that number 2 on the list if that was a thing?
Who knows?
No, or like just redo
The
it.
Constitution is designed to be flexible. We need to have a constitutional caucus. We need to get rid of the stupid ass fucking racist fucking bullshit fucking
Yeah.
electoral college.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
and we need to make fucking funk like required listening for like everyone since they're born, like
I
all the way
agree
up
with
through
that.
their whole lives.
and then if you don't like it, 100 years from now we can change it.
Well, if you don't like funk, then we'll fucking send you over to fucking like there's a giant part of Australia that no one lives in,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
will be all the people that don't like funk.
We'll send Bill there. He hates funk and jazz.
I like funk.
No, everybody likes funk.
I
dude.
like funk and jazz.
Everybody
All right.
likes funk. Everybody likes it. I mean like funk, not like Jamiroquai.
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Is that an unpopular opinion?
Yeah.
I can't stand Jamiroquai.
Okay,
That
well,
was-
well
okay,
that's a pretty good
That's a
one.
good one, but Billy doesn't
But
like
Stuart
funk.
Zender's killer. But that's why, see, the bass player, the original bass player. Okay, listen. The original bass player was great. He was the MD, and the bass lines were great, and he actually sings way better than What's-His-Face with the furry hat. And then when he left, everything really sucked. So whatever. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, Jamiroquai.
also, Jamiroquai-
I'll still do the gig if you need bass player, though.
That was the most boring I've ever seen in my life at Halloween 2018.
Yeah, of
by the
course.
way. So boring.
I believe you.
All right, so
I'm going to get in trouble.
so my
If
my
anybody
I'll go
watches,
fuck.
yeah,
my
they're
first-
They're gonna watch, too.
my first
Oh, they're
unpopular
gonna watch.
opinion.
they're gonna watch.
My first unpopular opinion is rhythm guitar is more interesting than lead guitar.
Yes,
Well,
it's true.
It's
Because you know what? If you play lead guitar and you're not playing rhythms, then you suck.
Exactly. Thank you.
So a
Sure.
good lead is rhythmic. Everything
Exactly.
is rhythmic.
Look
Yeah.
at
You know,
Corey
unless
Long
you
is a perfect
play-
example. Corey Long is my
you know
idol
what's
right
a great
now.
example to prove you wrong? Eddie Van Halen. That's
Yeah, but he was still
so
playing
rhythmic.
rhythm.
Are
He
you
was still
kidding
playing
me?
rhythm though.
But he was still playing rhythm. Are you kidding
There was
me?
rhythms there's floaty shit.
Yeah.
And then, like you
There's the
have to have
polyrhythmic
rhythm.
shit.
And fucking chicka junk clang clang. That's a rhythm. dude.
Exactly.
That's Eddie Van. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like noodly fucking lead guitar is boring as fuck.
Yep.
Like you know what I'm saying? John McLaughlin plays crazy leads and it's totally rhythmic, and that's why it's interesting. Because
Yeah.
it's all like tick tick tick. It's like the Indian shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But really, to me, there's no such thing as rhythm or lead. like you're playing rhythms and you're playing melodies.
Yeah.
And it's however you put it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to me, it's pretty like the boring shit is like, here comes the lead and here comes whatever. I mean, okay. Journey had some pretty cool like lead parts that I can still sing, even though like I don't like want to tell anybody, but it's cool. Don't Stop Believing. Dude, Neil Sean, it's cool. You know, whatever, dude. Journey's cool, dude. I'll fucking take Journey over fucking Chumbawamba.
Bro.
Are you really just
knocked down? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
I get up again, bro.
Yeah. I'm glad these are musical. My second one, and you're gonna laugh your ass off, is my unpopular opinion is I don't know who Jaco Pastorius is.
You don't know who he is?
Obviously, because you call him Jacko.
That's not an opinion. That's just a fact if you don't know who he is.
That's just funny to say that, though.
Oh, okay. I can tell you who he is.
I know who he is.
Oh, you do know who he is? Man, I'm confused.
It didn't go over the way you thought it was. I told you that
I
at the
know.
beginning.
I know
it
who
wasn't
he
gonna
is
work.
and everything like that. I don't know how I've gotten this far.
It's okay
in my life.
He's never heard the chicken though.
No. Just listen to his first album.
I when I was looking him up last night.
Have you listened to his first album?
I haven't listened to him, but I've listened to
Listen to his first
The
album.
Weather Report.
The Weather Report's amazing.
The Weather Report's great.
Yeah,
actually.
listen to Jocko's first album.
Here's-
All of his albums are great, amazing, but listen to Jocko's first album.
Here's what I'm trying to say. I guess what I really
You haven't listened to him.
I don't understand why
It's
he's so famous. Is my unpopular
Because
opinion.
okay. I'll break this
I
down for
don't
you.
get why. Yeah.
Why?
Ask a good bass player.
No, it has nothing to do with bass player. He revolutionized the instrument. He was an incredible composer. He extended the range of the 4-string bass. If you haven't really listened to him, that's why you don't get it. Listen to his first album.
Is a good fucking person to ask.
Listen to his his first album and then come back to me.
Okay.
And it will change your life. Listen to his first album. You'll be like, okay. He was a completely unique voice. There will never be another Jocko. He's incredible. He played like no one else. He changed everything.
And then you'll get
and he was funky as shit. And he electrified the upright bass. And he was just incredible. And he came and everything he did was amazing. And he's the greatest of all time. And that's it.
And then you'll get Matt Styles. If you watch this guy play, it's literally just like Jocko, but
this
like
by far
different.
has been the most unpopular opinion that I've ever said.
It's not an opinion.
Because you
just,
both are just like, wow.
No. It's just because I understand if you haven't
I know.
really listened to him, then that's why. It's like if I had never heard him, I wouldn't know it. But if you gotta listen to him. You haven't really listened.
I know who he is, and I know the name so much because everybody talks about him.
I know, but you haven't listened to him.
But I don't know one song by him.
You haven't listened to it. Well, listen to. He's got plenty of songs. He's got amazing songs. 3 Views of a Secret. Amazing, dude.
Just start
Continuum.
with the chicken. Just start with the chicken.
Yeah, but the chicken's a Pee Wee Ellis song. The three Views of a Secret, dude. He's got amazing, dude. Fucking Portrait of Tracy.
Fire under you real quick.
He has, dude. He never wrote a bad song. All of his music is incredible. He wrote. Joe Zawinul and Wayne Shorter are 2 of the greatest fucking. They're to me the Lennon and McCartney of jazz music. Jocko is the only person to have multiple songs of his on Weather Report albums. Like everything he wrote was amazing, and it's Florida music. It's from the fucking.
He's
it's
Fort
like
Lauderdale.
he's
my hometown.
And nothing sounds like it. Nothing sounds like it, and it's just it. He plays melodies. It'll make you cry playing one note, and he'll play the funkiest shit in the world, and nothing sounds like him.
And his percussion influence, he was trying to like emulate
he was
percussion.
a drummer.
Yeah,
he's a drummer, and he broke his hand playing football, so he had to switch to bass. But listen to Jocko's first album, and like when you're ready to just chill and listen and just listen to it, and it will change. It will change your mind.
I just knew that if I said that, it would just be like,
I understand. I understand where you're coming from because if you haven't really heard it,
I really haven't.
Yeah. So, but just listen to his first album.
But I can't believe it. I've been playing music for so long, and it's
You so
yeah, but you're not a bass player either.
I'm not.
And you
I'm
also
not.
But he's
you also
beyond
didn't
bass
exist
playing.
in
You will appreciate his compositions I'm gonna send you some shit of him playing
go ahead.
piano and Toots Thielman's playing harmonica, playing 3 Views of a Secret, and that will change that will change everything.
You also didn't come from that world.
What world?
Just like the jazz and fusion.
Where
and
did I come from?
And like you came from like
Kentucky.
the Jamtronica
You
want
to talk about it?
I'm just saying
I
that
love
like
Kentucky, dude.
You ever been? What part?
A bunch of parts, but my friend John Lee Wyatt's from Kentucky. He
I'm
used to live on a
from
farm.
I'm from Lexington. Me too. A tobacco farm outside of Lexington.
Yeah.
all right. So my
I
second.
knew that.
Yeah, that's right. We talked
So
about it.
my second unpopular opinion is I don't like
That's where I learned
watching.
where Aphex Twin was from, in fucking the middle of nowhere, 300 fucking people, and I still listen to Aphex Twin,
know.
the only person
That's
in
awesome.
300-mile radius.
All right, so
What
my
are you talking
That's why
about?
we get along so
Yeah, that's why we get along well.
so my second unpopular opinion is I don't like watching old movies.
Man, The Maltese Falcon is one of of the best fucking
how
movies
old?
ever made.
Like old, I'd say
Like
I'd
Good,
say
the Bad, and the
befo-
Ugly old, like in the 60s?
like pre-90s.
Pre-90s?
Okay.
He's also, before we start, he's never seen The Matrix either, so he has
Never
no
saw The
idea.
Matrix.
Listen to me. First of all, okay. Have you seen Apocalypse Now?
I
Go
watched it when I
fuck
was
yourself
a kid.
if
Yeah.
you've never seen that
Watch
movie.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
There's so many amazing movies that came out
It's Emilio
before the
Estevez, dude.
90s.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, The Predator is a
Yeah.
great movie.
Oh, no, he hasn't
Never
seen
saw
that. He's never
Predator.
seen that either.
See, once again, this is the same thing.
It's hilarious.
It's the same thing as a Jocko thing, but with
We
movies.
don't want to hang
Yeah.
out with you anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want to. We don't want to. We will. We have to. We're
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fucking put on Predator and turn the sound off and fucking listen to Jocko's first album.
There you go. At the same time, and then it would probably line up like fucking Wizard of Oz
Listen
and
to
Pink
me.
Floyd.
I had an amazing experience where this is similar type of thing where the music to the movie. There's an incredible movie that came out a couple years ago, and it's called The Last Warrior. I randomly found it. It's this like crazy Viking.
The Last Samurai.
No, The Last Warrior.
Last Warrior.
And it's this Viking epic, and it's got the goriest, most brutal fight scenes, but it's shot, and the cinematography is incredible. And I just turned the sound off because it was overdubbed, and you lose, the overdubbing was cheesy. And there's a guy named Luke Vibert, who's one of Apex's friends, and he, one of those, English dudes, and he's one of my favorite electronic musicians, or musicians in general. He makes great music, and he has this drum and bass album that he just came out with. It's Eamon Andrews. It just came out last year, and I put this shit on, and I had there was possibly some fungus involved, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I put this, and I started this movie, and I put this shit on, and there's like all this fighting in the movie, and every single thing lined up perfectly with all of the music, all the rhythm, because it's all drum and bass, like amen break shit chopped up and everything, and that the amen break is a drum beat that they.
Oh no, you don't have to explain.
You know what I'm saying? Okay,
Explain it to him.
All right, well, it's a break that started with, like, you probably heard it in, like, NWA, like Straight Outta Compton, and then once Time Stretching came out in the early 90s, that's what like drum and bass, like a whole genre of music came.
It's like
from
right after Jungle in
so
1994.
it's like the amen break is like a whole genre of music just from this one drum break from this B side of a record from the 60s. So, which is really crazy. But anyway, everything perfectly lined up with this, with the music. Like it was crazy. I kept waking.
What was the
Sarah
name of
up.
the movie again?
It's called The Last Warrior,
And
it was
who's in it?
I don't know. It's like a Viking movie. It's like Russians and like Norwegians, and it's like not in English. And so I turned the sound off and I watched it.
A Russian Viking movie?
I don't know. I think Russians made it, but it's Viking. Dude, I'm telling you. Yeah, I got it on Amazon Prime. And it was like one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. Like I don't know if I've ever been able to watch a movie with no dialogue and understand exactly what's happening the whole way through just by how they're looking and talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it was deep, and it was so brutal, but like all the music lined up perfectly with everything, and it was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I highly recommend that, kids. Yeah.
So anyways,
you put Noe Kwatsky with any music if you'd want.
Oh yeah,
That's always a
Philip
good one.
Glass.
Yeah,
Coy. Yeah, he's got that one and then the other one too, Coy and Squatsy, and then the other
I think
one.
it's Coin. I can
There's
never
two
say
of
the
them.
word.
There's something
The
Squatsy.
second one.
Yeah.
That's the best fucking movie
Yeah.
to do nitrous to, hands down.
Yeah. ISI, by the way, those are the best chargers to get.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
100%.
They're triple distilled. You
If they're
you don't get any of that machine oil.
if
in
they're
there.
not blue, don't do. That's my motto.
No, oh, dude, I'm telling you, I found it. No. The blues, like those are the second best.
Oh really? You
But
got?
there's the ISIs.
I don't know what those are.
ISIs, kids. If you want to make the
So
best
do
pies,
nitrous,
go with
kids.
ISIs.
Oh, that's your okay. All right.
We've done a lot of research
Yeah.
since the lockdown, let's say.
Mm.
So,
What's your number 3, Bill?
What? It's on me now.
Yeah.
Oh.
My unpopular opinion was very unpopular apparently. So
okay. I understand.
Bill Wirtz is the most underrated musician ever. Do you know who he is?
No.
There you go.
It's not even a popular opinion.
Who's Bill Wirtz?
There you go.
How could be unpopular opinion if nobody even knows what you're talking
I
about?
don't know. Maybe we're gonna change this to like just.
No.
That's
You
okay.
just
Tell me who he is so I can hear him.
Bill
He's pretty
Wirtz,
amazing.
He got famous for making a video called "The History of Japan," and then he made "The History of the World Ever." But you should listen. It's starting to ring a bell.
I remember seeing those. Like, I don't know if I actually saw them, but I remember hearing about those things.
But he's a musician at heart, and he's also good at video editing. But oh my God,
Bill Wirtz.
Bill Wirtz.
I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, he is incredible.
All
like
right.
it's all of his music is just all over the place, but you've never heard
It's
anything
really
like
good,
it before.
though.
It's very
down.
very good.
It's very well.
How do I
well
find it?
composed.
He's on Spotify.
I got Spotify.
Yeah, you ever heard
you
of it?
dig it. You dig it for sure.
I'm down, dude. I'm gonna listen
put
to
it
it in my
on.
car when I'm
I
on my
just
way.
told
out.
I told my boss I'm gonna be 15 minutes late to work.
All right.
You got a
So
job?
Yeah, you remember those?
No. What is that? Some Swedish word?
No. I got a good
so-
gig. I work from home, and I work I work night shift 8:30 to 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday.
That's my schedule.
Monday through Thursday, but after 12 o'clock, there's nothing, and they still keep paying me.
That sounds like a great job. How can I get this job? Do they hire me?
After I quit and become supervisor, I'll hire you.
Hell yeah, dude. Woo! We'll fucking hang out, listen to Bill Wirtz and shit. Dude.
Yeah, there you go.
all right. So my last unpopular opinion is Nickelback is not any worse than any other cheesy rock band.
Do
from
you
the early
want to
2000s.
strangle him now, or do you just want to wait until later and he doesn't realize that?
Do you-
no,
listen- but listen-
there's
listen
other
to what I
cheesy
s-
rock bands that are better. I'd rather hear Poison than Nickelback.
Okay,
Stop
but
so
I'm saying
loud.
That's not 90s,
But hold on,
though.
I'm saying from
Oh,
from the
90s.
early 2000s though.
Creed.
Or
I'm saying,
Creed's
Well,
worse.
Creed's worse than Nick. I don't know which worse, Creed or Nickelback.
guys, this is
horrible.
right, guys.
Sorry.
So okay, so what I'm saying is that they're not any. What I'm saying is that they're not any worse than any other 2000s cheesy rock band. Saving Abel, Three Mary Seven, Seven Mary Three. Sorry,
I don't like that argument.
It's-
Not any worse.
Yeah, but it all sucks though.
That's why okay, but that's what I'm
You
saying
can't get
though.
worse than sucking.
So
No.
you're trying to say
but here's a-
they suck the
Dude,
same
Zach
as
Grover
everybody
is a
else.
Great kisser, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say that loud?
He's a good kisser.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying though: is that Nickelback gets like the brunt of the shit, right? It's like
Because of
Nickelback,
that fucking mullet he had, dude.
but
Seriously, if he'd have changed his fucking haircut, they wouldn't have had half that problem.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that
Everybody knows
musically,
that.
they weren't any worse than any of the other early 2000s rock bands. They just, for some reason, and it was probably
Any
a marketing
worse.
ploy on their part, that they became the worst band of all
yeah,
time.
because they were also the most. They were the most They had the most publicity and shit. You saw them all the time, more than anybody. They all sucked. But since Nickelback was the one everybody saw the most, they sucked the most because that's the one they saw the
But
most.
do
Well,
you-
I'm just saying they
Do
didn't
you have
suck.
another
Because
band? that-
Nickelback was way bigger than Seven Mary Three or any of those other bands.
Yeah.
Do you have
That's-
another?
So since they were more popular and they suck, everybody knows it. It's like that's.
I see what you're
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do you have another
But I
band?
love Nickelback, so that really pisses me off.
Yeah. Do you have another band to compare Nickelback to?
Saving Abel, Seven Mary Three.
What
Yeah.
about Everlast?
Everlast is from the 90s and is a
No,
completely
they're
different
not.
thing.
That's early
Everlast is
2000s.
absolutely from the 90s.
Get up and get down. Went to your mums. I give the drum bumps. That
No.
was that guy.
You're talking about House of Pain.
Yeah, Everlast.
Yeah.
Is the MC from Everlast is the MC from House of Pain.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Wait. Who's the band that did Father of Mine then?
Oh, that was the fucking
Everclear.
Everclear.
Sorry.
I'll take Everclear over Nickelback any day.
That's what I'm trying to say. But he's trying to say they're in the same
No,
vein.
Everclear is better than Nickelback.
Way better.
Okay.
Like this turd smells better than this turd.
That's what I'm trying
it
to
was
say.
an unpopular
I like-
opinion
I like
It
for
is,
reasons.
it's an unpopular.
I like
It's
my
an unpopular
turds,
opinion.
like not too runny, but not crunchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like right in
Well-
the middle. You know what I mean?
Well, if I'm gonna bite into it, I want the texture to be nice.
Yeah. You want mouth texture
Yeah.
to be sufficient.
I
So when I
agree.
throw up, it mixes with the turd.
So-
I don't want to have all chunks in my vomit.
That's
I
right.
want it to be complete
Yes.
Nickelback.
That's
Okay.
right.
Well,
Not nickel front.
That is not,
Ayo. Thank
not
you.
what
here
Nickelback
all day.
means, but Nickelback is a
Nickelback is when they go into the fucking cover two, fucking get a pass
Ooh.
like defense and shit, and they fucking put the Nickelback in to fucking protect against the fucking pass.
100% right. That is correct.
That's right.
He didn't know that.
I have no idea what
Don't
you're
ever
talking
throw
about.
the backside Venus on a Spider 3Y banana.
Woo, that is very true.
You're welcome.
But Nickelback is, for the lamest terms, instead of 3 defensive ends, you bring in
Yes.
another one.
Okay.
You bring it.
Instead of doing it as a safety, not
about-
safety.
You bring
a corner.
don't you bring an extra quarter?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
you
okay,
take
yeah,
a corner, take a corner, put him into there.
Yeah.
Not a big soccer guy, I will say.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky was one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Nah, I'm not a big baseball fan, so if you can kind of dumb it down.
All right, so Bill, what's your last one?
That was my last one. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, you had. I did. Wait, that what you did your last one already?
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I said we skipped you again.
You skipped me again.
Yeah.
No, I did all three of mine. So, what's your unpopular opinion,
now it's
Matt?
your turn.
Oh my God, what's my unpopular
You've said several already
opinion?
by this point, but I'm interested in your last
Man,
final
this is-
one.
Okay, my final unpopular opinion.
Final round.
Oh my God. All my opinions are so popular.
Yeah.
Because I'm so cool, it's hard to think. Oh man, what's my unpopular opinion? Oh man, hang on, it's gonna come to me.
Well, Hating Jamiroquai is a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's like a whack, it's like Stevie, like Bob Wonder. It's like trying to be Stevie Wonder, but without any of the whatever.
Have you
It's
checked
like-
out the changes in Virtual Insanity though? There's some pretty hip changes.
Yeah, there's some cool changes, but if I'm gonna listen to cool changes, I'll listen to Stevie Wonder. I'll listen to Donny Hathaway. I'll listen to whatever. I'll listen to Earth, Wind and Fire.
How do you feel about Snarky Puppy?
Snarky Puppy? Okay, I'm gonna get in
Here's the
trouble.
unpopular opinion.
They're very
right here.
nice guys.
Yeah.
I love Ghost Note.
Yeah.
You know what I think about Snarky Puppy? Ghost Note is awesome.
That's a pretty good one.
There it is.
Pretty good.
Who's in Ghost Note that's out of Snarky Puppy?
Sput.
Not Corey Henry though.
No, Sput, the drummer.
I know.
I don't even know who's in Snarky Puppy because there's so many people. But I mean,
It's
I
just a
appreciate
collective.
them. They're tight. And
Michael
I love,
League is
but,
awesome.
and I really love Ghost Note.
Yeah.
I love
I'm
Ghost.
gonna say.
Ghost Note's insane.
Yes.
Mono Neon is insane.
He's incredible. He's
That's
the
the best
baddest,
I've ever
dude.
heard two drummers play at the
Yeah.
same time. It's just the most.
He's the best, dude.
I try to explain to people when people are like, "Oh, who should I listen to?" I'm like, "Do you want to listen to like the best music of all time that's out right there?
Yeah.
This is Ghost Note.
Yeah. They're
There's
great.
nothing better than that."
Michael
great.
League's pretty cool too.
They're great.
And Snarky Puppy's great.
Michael League's great. They're great. But for my own personal taste, I love Ghost Note.
Right.
I love
I've never,
Ghost Note, too.
I've never actually put a Snarky Puppy album on. I've never, but I will let you know.
You listen to
Ghost
Bocanti
Note.
at all? And Roosevelt's involved in that.
They're
Michael
great.
League.
I've seen them live.
God, it's
You know?
so good.
But you
man.
are-
They're
You're-
excellent. They're very talented. They're all great, and I love Ghost Note.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You're aware of Corey Henry and that he's like reptilian. He's not from this planet.
Have you heard his new album?
Yeah, of course.
Corey
Yeah.
Henry's great.
Corey Henry is the
Yeah,
best.
he's great.
He loves
Piano
Ghost
player
Note though.
alive
He loves
right
Ghost Note.
That's
He's
what
great.
I'm trying to. I'm just saying.
He's
Corey
great.
Henry's not in Ghost Note.
He's great.
No, I
He's
know.
great. I mean, I'm old, and I mean, I'm all, George Duke all day, Herbie Hancock, Joe Zawinul,
Yeah,
Bill
Weather-
Evans, and the guy goes.
Way to bring it back home. I like it.
You're into knuckle play?
Knuckle, dude. I'm totally knuckle play, bro. That's what the back room. That's what happens in the back room at the D&D place. It's
Yeah,
knuckle
yeah.
play.
Knuckle. All right,
See
guys.
you fucking
well,
there, bud.
This has been another episode of Bottom of the Bill. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks,
Oh,
Matt, for driving up for
and-
Orlando.
I hate to say
This
this,
is-
but we never cheers this whole time.
Oh, we didn't fucking cheers?
That's okay. He'll take the whole bottle.
Cheers like a motherfucker. Hang on.
Oh, I need a little bit more in here, though, before you do that, so I can actually have a drink.
I'm fine. I'm drinking wine.
That works right there. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Just
Thank
for
you
the
so much.
picture. And smile at the camera.
Word to your mother.
It's easier for me for editing.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
Thanks for tuning in.
muchachos.